Tottenham till I die, Spurs die hard. Tottenham till I die. Tottenham till I die. Tottenham till I die. Spurs die hard. Tottenham till I die.
Hello and welcome to the regular Sunday edition of Spurs Diehards TTID Tottenham Till I Die. Tonight we'll discuss the World Cup and, of course, the transfer window as well. I'm not going to hang about. I'll never do. I'm going to introduce you to my guests and then we'll get going. Brad, how are you? What's the weather like in your neck of woods?
Well, hello, Adrian. Hello, Harry. It's so much nicer today. It really is. It's been horrible all week. No sleep, nothing. In fact, I even went into the office 3 days in a row because I got air conditioning. So it's just been absolutely ghastly, should I say. But it's a lot better today, I have to say.
You can find here, those you watching us now, viewing us now, or listening to us now. Well, you won't be able to see it, but you can see the link to Brad's channel here. And those of you watching on playback, get over to Brad's channel, give him a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Brad, you got anything going on the channel at the moment?
There's a new song on there. It's been on there for about 3 or 4 weeks, I think. I think the second one this year. I'm a bit slow at the moment, going from doing one song a week to like 1 or 2 songs every year now. But I'm going to try and keep it more simple and do a few more songs. But yeah, there's a fairly topical song on there at the moment, which it's got over 100 views now. So if anyone wants to go and give it some more views, that'd be really, really appreciated.
And Harry, how are you? What's the weather like where you are?
I'm very good, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's great to be on with both of you. Brad, it's been a while, so it's really nice to be on with you. Yeah, not too bad, really. It's about 24, 25 degrees. It has been today, I should say, about 22, 23 now. Much better. We got to a point where I know it got higher in the country, but where I was, I think it reached 35 and a bit. Again, it's just really, really hot. And we were talking off air, actually, I was saying quickly with Brad, and we're kind of like, Brad made the really important point. He's absolutely right that we're going, it's so much cooler next week. We're still talking about 24, 25. I mean, usually we'd be like, oh my God, it's hot. This is peak summer. So the irony of that, but it's good to be here.
Yeah, I'm quite happy when it's about 22 max because I'm heat intolerant anyway. So all these people that want to go and lie in the sun in Spain in 34 degrees, good luck to you. Good luck to you. I would be in the shade in the bar, like, you know what I mean? Most of the holiday, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, you can find Harry here. There's his links here and here. The links for these guys there's also in the comments section as well. So those of you that are watching us on playback, no excuses for not getting over there, giving the channels, subscribing to the channels and giving the videos a thumbs up. So let's remove that. And let's get into the banners. Right. Okay. Excuse me while I scroll down. There we go. World Cup. Yeah, we'll talk about that. I mean, I don't know about you guys. I'm a very selfish Premier League supporter of Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. So I haven't got that for England like maybe fans of clubs in lower divisions have got. And I understand it because it gives them the national team to support. So, and I'm very selfish. To me, Spurs comes first. I don't even like it when our players go away on international duty either. But, you can't, the players, they've got careers and they want to do this, don't they? So, but Brad, what's your take on the World Cup so far? You watch many games?
Yeah, I don't watch all the games. Obviously, ones that are on 2, 3 in the morning, I don't watch. But it's been a weird World Cup before the World Cup because it was one that normally I really do look forward to it. I agree with you. You know, Tottenham is priority for me, but I wasn't looking forward to it as much as I normally do, and it's quite weird. I think it's got to do with what's been going on over in America. You know, with you know, I don't want to bring politics into it, but unfortunately, it's there, and I think that just put a bit of a downer on it. But I think seeing the various crowds that have gone over there from all different countries, and that, you know, I think that's been brilliant. And they've all got on with each other. You know, they've had a great time. You know, and I saw a thing on Facebook where an American actually said, "Oh, thanks for this," because so many Americans don't realise that there's a world out there. You know, and now we've seen it. It's come to our doorstep, and we've seen all this, and it's been absolutely brilliant in that respect. I want England to win, of course I do. You know, I mean, I was playing in the garden when we last won the World Cup. Didn't have an idea anything about it. So yeah, I want England to win the World Cup. I will get involved in the matches. I'll go and watch them and get excited by them and that. But yeah, it's interesting. I guess we'll talk about how England are playing later, but yeah, I'm sort of getting into it now a bit more than I was at the start.
Harry, are you enjoying the games or?
Yeah, no, I am. To be honest with you, I've enjoyed it so far, but I'm one of those that goes, "Oh yeah, I'm staying up for this 2 a.m. game," and I just don't make it. I don't think I made it once, to be honest with you. That's the irony. And you know, the irony is that I could make it to that time, 2 or 3 months ago. But I'll just say it very briefly. I'm currently doing a running challenge for charity, which is great. But then I get to the evening, and I've got no energy left. So I say, "Oh, I'm going to make it." Then I wake up and I've missed the game, or it's halfway through, and I think, "Oh, what's the point now?" But no, I've really enjoyed the World Cup. I mean, Brad makes important points, don't get me wrong. I've really enjoyed it. And I know, for example, people get annoyed with things like the hydration break. Totally understand that. But right.
Oh, we'll talk about that next.
Okay, I won't get too much into that. But the point is, I think everything's like at it from a money point of view. So even that they're looking right, music's coming. And again, the hydration breaks, you look into it, that's going to make them an awful lot of money. So cleverly done from a business point of view. I've enjoyed the World Cup, I'll be honest, but like I said, those 2 a.m., well, especially the 4 a.m., but definitely the 2 a.m. games as well, just a little bit too much. Haven't seen every game, probably seen about half, if I'm honest, but definitely on always watch the England games. But I echo what you say, Adrian. I really want England to do well, and I do feel that passion for England, don't get me wrong, but I'm very club first type of person for me. That Spurs player don't get injured, and I'm thinking, Jed, please be careful, and all the time, it's on my mind.
As you brought it up, dehydration breaks. Now, to me, I mean, look, they had them written in a contract with FIFA and all. Let's be fair, these are timeouts to make money for advertising, aren't they? Or do they not have ads during the break? Someone said somewhere they don't have ads during the break. So if that's the case, then I'm wrong. But dehydration breaks when the temperature's low. I mean, like, what next? Hot summer, hot weather substitutes and Bovril breaks in the winter. I mean, like, what we're having here? What's going on here, Harry?
Yeah, I totally get what you said. Do you know what? I'm one of those where I just go, do you know what? I can appreciate both sides. I really can. But I completely agree there's a money point of view. All I would say is I don't think they would be able to pull it now. I honestly don't, because of contracts that goes on and stuff like that. But if you look at it, when we get to the hydration break, music blasts out straight away, and they always get in at least 1, if not 2 songs. The advertisement, there's far more around the stadiums. They're very, very clever when it comes to that point of view. That's why it's done. Personally, going into the tournament, I would have had some bit like if it's over 25 or over 27 degrees, then the hydration break is there if the referee chooses to do it. The problem I have, right, is not with them in general. It's the way they're done. Like the other day, there was a stoppage 30 seconds before the hydration break. Just call it then. That's common sense. Making the players run for another 30 seconds. So, it all comes back to common sense. And if there's added common sense, but it seems really rigid, it has to be on this exact point. Either that or the official is just, kind of stubborn, like I'm in charge. Because just sometimes I think, Adrian, you've just stopped. Someone's injured for a minute, 2, something longer, 5 minutes the other day. And then they're running for 30 seconds and they're off again. So, yeah, common sense lacks of this. I don't have a problem with it. I think it makes sense. You think someone, for example, Norway that involved, if it was down to just their players, it'd be fancy to go quite far, but the climate doesn't suit them. So for them to have a hydration break, I'd argue is very, very important. But it could have been carried out better on reflection, like saying it's not triggered until we reach a certain point. Because what about if it's 10 degrees? It's not going to be. But if it's 10 degrees, then the hydration break's still there. Like, hang on, what are you hydrating for? And what is wrong as well is managers are talking, etc. And we're seeing after, I'll say this lastly, after the hydration break, we're seeing this swing in momentum. Like England nearly conceded after the hydration break, if I remember it correctly yesterday, and we're in total control. So that's the thing. It has that swing. So it's got to the point now where it'd be better not being there, but it's too late to kind of take it away, if that makes sense.
Yeah, Brad. I mean, Harry makes a good point. I mean, we've seen it in the games that, like, a team's got momentum, and after break, it seems to suit the team that was struggling. Like, you know, as well.
Yeah, I agree with what Harry was saying. I think I do get the point. If it's really really hot, you know, these are human beings out there, and you want to look after them. I do get that, and I guess if I want to be devil's advocate, if they're going to have it for one game, they've got to have it for all the games, and that's why we have it when it is sort of not hot. I guess I do see that. Yes, I think the Americans years ago were saying, it should be 4 quarters. Well, they've sort of sneaked it in, haven't they, really? Momentum can change. And yeah, the other night was just ridiculous. You know, when the guy went down, I think the guy was injured, wasn't he, for about 2 or 3 minutes, and they could have had it then, but they didn't. So that's really stupid. Yes, you could be cynical and say, you know, advertising gets into it. That's life in America. That's life in the modern world. You know, if you get your advert in during the Super Bowl break, you know, you have to pay millions to do that.
Yeah.
And then from my own point of view, being even though I still think I'm 20 years old, but I am not 20 years old, it's a great chance to, let's say, have a relief break. So when you're at the pub watching the game and you think, I really need to go, and then great, hydration break, I'm off, sort of thing. Or even if we did last night, get the beers in at the hydration break as well. So from that point of view, I do find it quite useful, shall we say.
What do you think of VR? Does it look better because it doesn't involve our club? I mean, they're like, what have you seen of VR in the World Cup? Do you think
VAR? Look, it's a killer. It's a game killer. I'm sorry, I don't like it. The ball over the line, great rule. Let's decide it quickly. I don't mind using technology to show an offside, but we had a moment the other night. I only watched the highlights, so I didn't see it live. When Iran scored a goal in the last few minutes. And it was like, you know, this is the greatest moment in Iranian football history, and all jumping on each other, you know, and it's a really exciting moment. And then they looked in the offside, and it was about that much offside, you know. And I know you've got to go by the rule of law, but it just takes out all the joy. It really does. Because now, when you score a goal, in the back of your mind, you think, you know, you automatically, in the old days, you'd look at the linesman, wouldn't you? The goal would go in, you'd look straight at the linesman. If he's got his flag up, no. These days, you literally look at the referee to see if he's doing that. You know, so it's I just think it takes all the joy out of the game. It really does. And it's still not quick like it's supposed to be. Yeah. You know, you're supposed to get 30 seconds for these offside decisions.
Harry, we hear, don't we, all the time that they use VAR better in other countries than us and blah blah blah. But you agree with Brad here that you dislike it or not? I mean,
I personally dislike VAR, and maybe I kind of don't share the opinion maybe of my generation, but I just think there was never a need, in my view, for VAR. I was against it when it was introduced, and I still hold that position now. Do they probably get a little bit more right, despite we all think in the moment with VAR? Yeah, probably. But I think you take that joy away. And some people go, yeah, but you can celebrate twice. But you can't really. A good moment yesterday, right? Colombia, that would have been a huge goal for them. You know, Davison Sanchez, a really amazing header. But, you know, because he didn't trim his toenails, you know, his offside is absolutely bonkers. And don't get me wrong, I know it was originally flagged offside, so it wouldn't have counted. But that's not the point. The point is when you see it again, it's very, very tight. And we know that even if it hadn't been flagged, it would have been disallowed. So yeah, we're seeing, particularly you realise when you see smaller teams away from the World Cup, and right now we see smaller countries, their moments taken away through fine margins. But don't get me wrong, as an England fan, I'm really glad, like with Panama, super tight though, and you just think, really? Yeah, I don't like it when it's really, really tight. And what really annoys me when it's things you can't score with. I know we've had issues in the past, your hand, this, that, and the other hair. We've had it with Spurs. I remember Son, I think it was against Leicester, you know, we're looking part of his elbow hairs offside. And for me, we micromanage the game. I think you just go by VAR. And I just think, you know, this encourages more people to get in referee. And if you scrap VAR, it goes, look, we trust you. I think referees now, they're scared to say what they really think. They're scared to stick with their decision. Then they're scared to change their mind. And who wants to get in refereeing right now? You're scrutinised to every single detail. It'd be better if they just were allowed to ref the game. It's, looked at the end, for example. So I think, honestly, refereeing would be much better without it. Again, I get the idea why it was introduced, but I think you could look at it now and go, no, not really. There's no real benefit for it, because for it to be useful, it has to get most of the decisions right. And we're just adding on so much extra time, causes more injuries. I could go on. I think it's been negative, and I think we're seeing more injuries. I think Tottenham's a whole different problem, but in football, we're seeing a lot more injuries in countries where VAR has been used. That, for me, there is a direct link to that, because we're playing more time. It's taken too.
Yeah,
it hasn't stopped arguing about football.
No.
In the old days, we say, "Oh, well, that line was rubbish. It's never offside."
Yeah.
Now we're asking about VAR.
What is the point?
Yeah.
What is the point of them called linesmen anymore? That's how useless they are, with all due respect. Referee's assistant. What's the point of them? What are they doing? Because they could do nothing, and someone's going to make a decision for them. The referees as well, they become lazy. I just think, it's totally wrong.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, they know that they got VAR to help them out. If they, and the other thing is with the offside rule is that, the idea of football, when they used to bring in innovations, it's to make more goals effectively. But now they're looking for ways to rule out a goal.
Takes away goals. They're not interested in awarding goals.
Yeah, exactly. It used to be, if you're level with the player, you're onside. And now, they are most disallowed goals for offside that are that much offside. They are literally level with the player, but it's just their kneecap is slightly.
I'd like to see a rule change whereby we've all seen VAR hold up a game in the Premier League or whatever, like 4 or 5 minutes trying to make a decision, right? For a start, if a ref's got a split second, you watch webcam on the referee. He's got a split second to make a decision. Harry's right. There's too much goes at refs. And I understand why, if they're not sure, rather than make a decision in the past, they'll let VAR make that decision for them. But I just, it's football. And like you say, you both alluded to it, sort of killing the spirit of the game, especially when you've got a rule that if a player delays the game because he celebrates a goal by taking his shirt off, he gets the booking, right? I mean, this is football. This is what we want. We want to see that passion in the player, right? He gets the booking for holding up the game for 30 seconds or less than a minute, and VAR can hold the game up for 5 or 6 minutes. I mean, I know they're separate things and maybe you can't conflate them, but I just totally disagree with that. Don't kill the spirit of the game, right? You're dumbing it down. You're dumbing it down too much. I mean, on that, Brad, as three of us are probably not great fans of VAR, what's your take on the new rules that FIFA have introduced for this competition, like the 5-second rule at throw-ins, and whether it's given the other way, free kicks? If you're injured, you stay down too long, because we know players fake it to stop the momentum of the game. And what's your take on the rules?
Well, the 5-second rule, I've only seen it given about once. How many games we had in the World Cup? So that's obviously had an impact.
Well, it's obviously speeding up throw-ins then. So
hopefully, that's an indication that maybe that might be working. I've never understood why a player who's gone off injured has to wait, especially wait to be waved on by the referee, who's obviously watching the game. I don't know why they don't have the fourth official wave the player back into the pitch if he's come off the pitch. Now, half a minute or a minute, okay, you could argue about that. I don't really think much of it. I just think the whole concept of the player not being allowed back on the pitch until the referee waves him on is a bit silly anyway. And just my last point on VAR, which is a bit of a sad one, is that there'll be people now, or kids getting involved in football now, that won't know any different. So in many, many years to come, when me and you, Adrian, have gone, and sadly, one day when you've gone as well, Harry,
I'm going to live forever, Pat.
Hopefully, many years after we've gone, but there won't be anyone that remembers the old original football, and everyone will be brought up with VAR, and that's how they'll win the game.
Harry, do you like the new rules? Any of the introduced rules? There's a few actually, but
yeah, I think generally the World Cup has been good, but again, it's difficult when you set such a low bar, and that's the thing, because I get annoyed with referees, but over the last year I've tried not to, because I'm thinking actually, A, I wouldn't want to be in their position, and B, their job's kind of made harder. And it's like going back to the whole just general VAR thing, like although their job's done for them, they're like scared to, like, especially when they go to the monitor, they're scared to stick with their original decision. I think we desperately need referees to go, no, I'm right. It's not the stubbornness, right? Because that's the problem. You get the other extreme referees, I'm in charge, I'm the only one who's right, and that's also wrong. But we also need people to look and go, look, I'm right. I've been doing this for several years and I back my own judgment. And at the World Cup, we've seen referees just take a little bit, even if it is just a little bit more instinct, if I'm honest. I like the 5-second rule. For me, time wasting is a big thing. And although it gets added back on, and I get sick in a way of trying to make this point to people away from podcasting, like in my own family. And my dad will go, yeah, but it gets added back on. I'm like, yeah, but you lose the momentum of the game. You can have it exactly every second back on, which is never added back. Then you just don't get that same momentum. So we're seeing like the Premier League, ball's hardly in play. It's slowed down massively. Throw-ins is a huge thing. So we need to get over that kind of issue of bad sportsmanship, if you like, in football, and gamesmanship, where people are taking ages diving on the floor, because it's a shame, because things like players ruin it for others, and that's the whole thing. We go back to time wasting and stuff like that. So the throwing rules has been good, but as Brad says, I haven't seen that being implemented too many times, but it could have been games that I'm not watching, and Brad's not watching either. But yeah, that's definitely makes sense. You don't want to kind of rush players into doing everything, because that kind of dictates how they can play football. I get that, but at the same time, we're seeing a lot of stoppages, and if you're a smaller team that's just sitting back, like we had it the other day, didn't we? Ghana just sat back. If we allowed them a minute to take a throw in, then it just makes their game a lot easier. So yeah, the rules have been good, but I think personally this has been better managed and better refereed than we've seen this season in the Premier League. But again, probably slightly biased, because everyone looks forward to the World Cup.
Right, we're going to talk about England in a second. I'm just big up to everyone in the chat. There's a good few of you, and actually we've got like 115 of you viewing us already on a Sunday, which is fantastic, on various platforms, which is excellent. I mean, Friday's show, don't know what went wrong. We've had over 1,000 views on Friday's show, which is like, I mean, the most we did freak it at 1,800 one. This was like 3-4 months ago, but it's just a question of who's about on a day, especially on a Sunday. You don't know if people are hungover or whatever. And Friday, the show goes out late anyway for an American audience at 10. So, yeah, but I'm going to keep doing the 2 shows a week during there. I might go back to a regular Tuesday or the occasional Wednesday next year. It all depends if when we get any midweek games. So that might only happen with the League Cup or whatever. Like, it starts about November time, I think. Or is it? Yeah. Big up, Nita, a very good friend of the show. Yeah, big up, Simon. You're a regular now as well. This guy Harry's a regular as well. And we got right. Okay, let's go back to the banners. And who wants to speak on this? Go on, Brad. Panama and England too. I'm sure we all watched the game.
Yeah, we watched it. We at my sort of local pub has been refurbished, so they got like a beer garden. Well, it used to be a beer car park, and that's a proper beer garden. So we watched it there, and it's the first time, other than when I'm in an air-conditioned office at work, I've been cool all week. So that was really great. The game was a bit of a non-event, really. England did what they had to do. And also, I've booked all my days off banking on England winning their group and, going through and playing their next games as they are now. So they had to win for that reason. But the only one thing I will say is that you generally find that teams that do well in the World Cup generally do start slowly, and I think England have got a lot to be a lot better, and I think they might be. What did confuse me yesterday was they had, is it Tonsai as a sort of makeshift right back, and I'm thinking, well, you've got a right back there in Jed Spence. Why didn't you use him? That sort of seemed a bit strange to me. But I think England again, we've got winners there with Bellingham and Kane. And also, I think in the knockout rounds, hopefully you won't get the teams playing so deep as some of the weaker teams in this tournament has. So England have struggled to beat low block teams, and all the other big teams have as well. I'm not saying England are going to win the World Cup, but I think that we can do, if on our day we can get a lot further. Whether we can beat the likes of France or whatever, I don't know. At the moment, France to me are the team that wants to beat. But yeah, it was England did what they had to do. A couple of nervy moments. I think the defence needs a bit of working on, really. But yeah, we're there. We won the group and we're through.
Yeah, Harry, your take on the England game?
Yeah, first half was slow, to be honest, but second half we were much better. And I think, again, it's further evidence that both Jude Bellingham and Harry Kane, I just think, are levels above the rest. It's not disrespecting any other England player. It's just going, look, we're just so lucky to have Harry Kane and Jude Bellingham. And if you think there were people making the argument that not only should Bellingham not start, people are saying, why is Bellingham in the squad? Seriously. You know, people were saying this. I mean, where are they now? You know, it's honestly, it's a terrible look, and everyone's allowed to get things wrong. I certainly have in the past, particularly with Tottenham, but just the fact that people are so adamant that he was, you know, what's he doing here? You know, why is he in the team? I'm just thinking, really, because as much as I love Harry Kane, Bellingham was by far the best player in particular game. I think that goal for Kane, I'm glad he got it, covered up what was a quiet performance, to be kind, for him. I think I have concerns, Adrian. I'm always someone that tries to think ahead. I mean, that's my problem. I don't think you enjoy the moment, but although it's a good win, I can't help but think we play like this across the 90 against a better opposition. I think we're punished. We gave Panama far too many counterattacks, and we just felt like we never, particularly in the first 45, never really progressed too far, because we were worried about the counter. And I think this is Panama, 0 points in the end, 0 points before they played us. I'm thinking big teams at this current moment.
We beat them 6-1 in Russia when we played out there.
Well, exactly, yeah. Of course, different teams for both, different managers, etc. But the point is, right, if we play like this, which we won't, hopefully, I don't think we will, in games to come, then we aren't going to go as far as we'd like. We aren't even get to the semi-final. We're not going to get there if we play at this for now. But the second half, we turned it on a little bit. It's better. We got the job done. That's all that matters. I don't think it's a case of, crisis time for England, but we have to improve. Tuchel knows that. You can see
more of the second half against Croatia, don't we? Which I think Brad alluded to. We get that when teams have got to go for it if you want to win this competition. Right? And I think it will suit us because we showed with the 2 lots of forwards we put on that Croatia game.
Yeah,
but we haven't got Mbappe and we haven't got a Musa and Dembele, but we have got a good attack.
I know we've got 2 clean sheets, but defensively, I am concerned.
Defence, I'm worried about defence, but
very open.
Yeah, I think there are probably 6 teams that can win it. I think England are one of those 6 teams, but I think the team that will win it will be the team that can play fast, attacking, one-touch football, because that's how you get past defences that are doing the low block. And England at the moment haven't really shown that. I think if we play better teams that do come at us, then that gives us more of an opportunity to get them on the break. And we've got quick players. We've got quick players, but experienced players as well. So it's not it's not by any means over. But I think we've got the Democratic Republic of Congo in the next round, which
so that'd be Senegal.
We should be winning that. No disrespect to Congo, but we should be winning that. And then I think we probably will play Mexico in the next round.
Well, we're going to go through that. We're going to have some fun. We'll get the chat involved as well. I think England have been poor. I thought it was a bit of a yawn fest yesterday, to be honest with you. We got the goals, but I just think we got the goals because we showed quality. I mean, 2 quality players scored them. Right, so that's it.
Simple goals as well.
Yeah.
Come out the blue. It's like,
Right, I'm going to bring this up, and you can join in a chat if you like. Right. Let me lose that banner because it's obstructing things. Right, I don't know if I can make this bigger or not.
What was that? CBS Sports.
This is like so, guys.
Can you get it online where you can actually put the results in?
These aren't the results. These are the 32 teams that are left.
Yeah, I know, but on the actual wall chart, you can put results in, and
I prefer you. I assume you could do that, Brad. There'll be a chart, won't there? There always is a chart for competitions, right?
The chart that you always fill out all the results until England get knocked out.
Exactly.
Then you throw it away.
Then you burn it. Yeah. Right. So, Harry, we go from like Germany, Paraguay. We're thinking they're like Germans going to win this, aren't they? I mean,
Yeah, I think Germany win that one for sure. Absolutely. There's some interesting ones in here. It's not to call, but this one, Germany.
And so the next game, I'll stay with you. I'll do Brad with the next ones. France and Sweden. Well, France. Look,
it'd be France. I think Sweden will give a good game, but in the end, I think the longer the tie goes on, you back France to.
So then Germany meet France. So is it going to be stiff shits Fritz right in this one?
It looks that way, but let me just quickly say that Sweden have been okay going forward, but their problems are defensively. So I do back France to score 5 or 6, and I mean that in that game. Not saying Sweden can't score 2 or 3 themselves, but that's going to be a really high scoring one. I think France and Sweden.
Brad, coming to you. We go down the next to South Africa, Canada. Well, Canada won the host. Hosts seem to get a lift, don't they? I don't know. Good. I mean, I know South Africa were fancied. Are a fancy team amongst the lesser teams, but I don't know nothing about them, to be honest with you.
Well, at the moment, the game's on in the background. After 34 minutes, it's 0-0. It's interesting that Canada, who are the hosts or joint hosts, but this game's been played in LA. So make of that what you will. Yeah, it's a difficult one to pick, isn't it? Really, I think I'd probably go with Canada because they're the team that they're hosting it. They've got the support, I guess.
Jonathan Davis has banged a few goals in. I don't particularly rate the player, but as it being exceptional. But okay.
France and Sweden. It's going to be Sweden winning with a goal in the last minute by Bergman. I'm joking, of course.
Of course, yeah. All right, so give you the next two then. I mean, which looks like it'd be a good game, Netherlands and Morocco.
Yeah.
Who's going to win? That's another tough call, isn't it?
Yeah. I'd probably go with the Netherlands. But, you're right. Anyone can win that game. Yeah, that's a tough game to call, isn't it? Because Morocco in the first half looked pretty good against Brazil, but then you could argue that Brazil aren't the Brazil that we normally see. So, yeah, it's a tough one. That well, their defence is obviously going to be strong in the Netherlands with 2 Spurs players in there.
Of course.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
And we may end up with Cody Gakpo. Who knows?
Oh God, yeah. I hope not.
Anything on these two games, Harry? Before I move you on to the next ones.
I don't know. To be honest, it's tough. I think again, I agree that it's tough to call. I'll be honest. And one's ongoing right now, and it's South Africa and Canada. If I'm not mistaken, that's ongoing as we speak. So already one underway. That's the thing. This morning we had the final bit of the group games, and then boom, straight into no break or anything, no day break. So I said to my brother, "Hey, I thought we'd done all the group games." He's like, "What are you on about? It's round of 32." So I didn't know. That's currently 0-0. Now, do you know what? They're hard to predict. I must admit, I'm not going to commit either way here. I think it's going to be very, very tough. But I like that. There's some that are tough to call. There's some that, just looking all through here, that are, easy to call. Well, like Germany, Paraguay, I would say it's fairly easy. France and Sweden come the end. But there's some that are going to be interesting. Netherlands and Morocco should be good.
Well, yeah. And staying with you, Portugal, Croatia. Portugal got a great midfield with Anita and Ferdinand and that. And Croatia got themselves back into this competition, didn't they?
Yeah.
But they're an aging side. Yeah, Portugal seems to me to be a bit blunt up front, what I've seen. I mean, you can't. I mean, you're judging on one game. It's a bit like Spurs fans judging a new player on one game. If he's bad, he's crap. Get rid of him.
Yeah.
You can't do this. I mean, Portugal, Croatia. I would go with Portugal. I don't think Ronaldo can say he's back after scoring goals against what we consider, without being disrespectful, a lesser team.
Yeah.
Messi and others and Haaland have been more impressive to me, So and even Vinicius Junior, But I think, well, unless he freaks it, Ronaldo, I don't see him start. Well, they've got to get through for him to start another game. So this could go. Penalties, guys, this one?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'd probably favour Portugal for the simple reason that, as you say, Croatia are aging, and England eventually beat them quite comfortably, I think, really, when they put their mind to it. I haven't seen a lot of Portugal, I have to admit. They've always got Ronaldo, I guess, who could be his last World Cup. I'd probably favour Portugal. And it's interesting to note that if we hadn't beaten Panama, if we got the draw, we'd be playing Portugal in the next round.
Yeah.
Can I just add in, if you don't mind? I know it's one of the previous games, but someone said in the comments, and I'm just looking here because I didn't know if it was our time as well as theirs. But yeah, 2 a.m. on Tuesday is Netherlands and Morocco. I mean, that's just bad for us, really. Because that'd be a good one. I mean, I'm not as interested in ones later on, like 6 with Norway in action. Not quite as interested in that one, but best one's at 2 a.m. Typical.
That's for a record it and watch it the next day.
So, Spain, Austria, Harry. Danso masterclass. And then make it 1-0 Austria.
Why not? Why not? Well, as long as he doesn't get injured. Again, that's me thinking club-wise. It's like you, Adrian. But no, I think Spain win this. But again, do you know what? There's some of these, right? Portugal and Croatia, I think, will be tighter than people think. Spain and Austria, I think, will be tighter. I personally think the Spain just win it like 2-1. I don't see that being, do you know what? I don't think Spain are going to run away with it. I think the quality will shine through in the end. And that's what we see now we're at the knockouts. We won't see any of those, well, we shouldn't see anyway. Yeah. Those group games, where teams are winning, like Portugal, I think, 1-5-0, didn't they? One of them, we've seen 4-0. Big score lines like that. We aren't going to see that as often. These other teams that will be the underdogs, like Austria going into the game against Spain, they're going to put up a really good fight. And I think it's going to go down to the wire. But yeah, I back Spain, Adrian, to go through in that one.
Harry, I mean, United States, Bosnia. I mean,
Yeah.
they're the host nation. I would expect
they win that.
to act as a 12 man for the United States to win this. But as you've alluded to before about players, some teams have sat back. I can see some of the teams in this 32 sitting back, probably trying to play for penalties as their only chance of getting through.
Yeah,
But I mean,
of course they'll probably do that, right? Surely,
yeah.
you know, if they're sensible. But I think that the US win, you know, we're talking about Maurizio Pochettino as a manager. I mean, I can't speak highly enough of him, to be honest. And I think that, yeah, they get through and quite comfortably. And yeah, US are in a really nice position now where they can kind of map out, you know, the next round or two. Yeah, they're in a good position. Good draw as well.
Belgium, Senegal, Brad. I mean, this is an either game for me as well.
Yeah, I mean, if Belgium play to their strength, and that, you know, when you watch Belgium, they've got so many decent players.
Yeah.
You know, and players that you think, oh, he's Belgium.
We shouldn't mention the words golden generation. We've been down that.
We shouldn't, but yeah, they got some decent players. And Senegal, from what I saw against France, looked good in the first half, but didn't do much after that. I'd probably favour Belgium, but yeah, it could go either way, this one.
Harry, Brazil, Japan, you can mention Belgium, Senegal as well, but Japan are probably the best of the Asian teams there, but Vinicius Junior and all that, and Brazil were moving the ball very quickly. You know, whether it's because Japan maybe is not as good as we think they are, I don't know, but Brazil look too good for this game.
Well, see, I always like to, not just to be deliberately awkward, but I always like to go, right,
Please do.
right? And I've got two for you here to, you know, could probably boot me off after this. I don't blame you. So Senegal and Belgium, firstly, I think Senegal find a way to win that. I really do.
Okay.
I've seen Belgium and I've been disappointed, I must admit, so far, and they look a shadow of their former selves. Do you remember Toby and Jan in defence? De Bruyne at his best. Yeah, they really are a shadow of their former self. So I would say that. I don't think it's too big of an upset. A big one is as well, I mean, whenever you predict Brazil to go out, right, it's always a big shock, whoever they're facing. I made a prediction on a bold one earlier in the tournament, and I like to stick to what I say for transparency. And I said Japan are going to go a long way. They're going to go to at least the quarterfinals. So I'm going to have to stick by that. I think it's going to be tough. I think it might need penalties, etc. But I think Japan get past Brazil. I think in Brazil, what will halt them again, you know, full of flair, etc. But in terms of playing together as a team, I just think, again, they'd just be really disappointed at the end of the tournament. Not to be for them, I don't think.
Right, I'll stay with you for the next one. Ivory Coast and Norway. Haaland's been banging them in, rested. And Ivory Coast as well. Does Diamandi play for Ivory Coast? Does he play for them? Or is it? Anyone?
I haven't seen any of Ivory Coast in this whole tournament.
No, I haven't seen much of them at all. But I think Norway, Adrian, to answer your question, do go through. But again, I've said it a couple of times. I think I said it once in this episode. I said it before previously. So it doesn't sound like a broken record, but climate plays a big part when teams play so many games in particular. So Norway, for them, it's going to be very difficult beyond this, even if they get through, to go too much further. I'm not saying it's impossible, but especially if it's in extreme temperatures, that's just not what they used to. Like, let's say it's not going to probably happen, but we get further down the line, Norway, against Brazil, it suits Brazil if it's hotter, a lot better. And that's just something to bear in mind. That's why hydration breaks, rightly or wrongly, are there. But yeah, I think Norway will go through in that one. And the further you go down, there's some that I think, not all, but some are a little bit easier to call. And I think this is one of them.
Yeah, I think Norway have got the the Haaland effect that I think will get them through in that one. Brazil, Japan, going back to that game, I think Brazil will win. But I respect what you say about Japan. They could cause an upset, and they did beating them in a friendly recently, didn't they? So I know it's only a friendly, but yeah. We'll put it this way: if Japan beat Brazil, it wouldn't be as much as an upset as it would normally be. Let's put it that way.
No, I'll stay with you, Brad. Mexico, Ecuador, who beat.
I haven't seen much of Ecuador, but I'd have to favour Mexico as the host. I'm presuming that they're playing in Mexico, so they'll have the crowd behind them. But then again, Canada aren't tonight, so who knows? I think Mexico will win that one.
Evening, Rain. Good to see you. We've
All right.
just gone through the ties, so we won't go back now. But on Mexico, Ecuador, I mean, Ecuador got a good defence. They've got Estupiñán and Hincapié. And coming into this competition, I don't follow those teams that well, obviously, because everybody knows I'm so Spurs-centric. But I don't know. I mean, I can see a few of these games going to penalties. Because it's going to be hard to score against Ecuador. What's your take on this tie, Rain? And good evening, by the way. Are you muted?
How about now?
That's much better.
Well, for starters, I think people shouldn't sleep on DR Congo because they've got Vissa, they've got Wan-Bissaka at the back as well. They're a relatively solid side, so that'll be a very interesting tie. Mexico Ecuador. That is going to be a really interesting game in itself because Ecuador are absolutely flying. But Mexico are passionate. I think we're going to really struggle against the winner of those two, if I'm brutally honest.
Oh, well, if we've got to play Mexico in front of their home crowd, then that adds a degree of difficulty to the game.
Thing is, even playing Ecuador, it's almost like playing in front of their home crowd.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them have travelled. I do wonder, considering I've seen that England. I was about to say Spurs fans. England fans are paying like 800, 900 pounds per ticket, which isn't unusual in America, right? In America, quite a lot of sports events, you're paying 300 or 400 quid for a ticket anyway. But I do wonder if some of these other countries, if these people are paying 400 or 500 quid for a ticket, because that is, for a lot of them, that is a huge amount of money, off of their weekly wage, off of their monthly, what they would earn on average. But I think, I suspect, I'm going to have to do a prediction because I do a charity prediction thing. I think I'm going to go with Ecuador.
Yeah, okay. Right. We've got England. I mean, I expect England to get past Congo. I expect them to sit back, though. I do. So England, this might be, we might have to, like Brad alluded to before we started, it's not the teams that start well in the competition. We know we've got a midfield and plenty of variable. We can vary the midfield. We can vary the attack. It's just our England's defence that concerns me. But, with football, and I'll probably start feeling the fever when we're down to knockout phases because it isn't in me yet as a Spurs fan. It isn't. Spurs are my love, so it just isn't in me. But once we get to the jeopardy stakes, I think what these competitions are always slow to start. When you've got, you've got to qualify from a group, and then you've got to do the boring maths of like, if he beats him, he draws, so and so doesn't fart in the second half, and things like that, and then you're on your way, ain't you? So yeah, that's England. Now, Harry, Argentina, Cape Verde. Just a little note on Cape Verde for those that don't know much about them. They're a group of 10 islands off of West Africa, I think. And the population is about 540,000. That's about it. So they've done very well to qualify there. So this is where the romance of the World Cup comes in. You don't get much, but yeah. Thanks for coming, basically, Cape Verde. Yeah, Harry?
Yeah, brutal, but yeah, no, you're right, absolutely. It's been a good story, to be fair. I must admit, the goalkeeper and everything like that. Yeah, it was Instagram blowing up. It's stuff you want to see. It's what the World Cup is about. But and me, I love a surprise. Going a couple of bold ones, probably crazy. It's fine. Come the end, but I can't really predict anything crazy in this one. I think Argentina get through. All I can say is you're right. I think that Cape Verde will sit back and make it difficult. I don't think it's going to be, a brutal battering or anything like that. But yeah, I can't see a world in which Argentina don't go through in this one.
Yeah, I mean, he probably could have got good odds, or on Cape Verde making the knockout round. But having said that, it's when you look at the structure of this World Cup, it's pretty hard not to make the knockout round. So, yeah.
Unless you're Scotland, of course.
I didn't want to mention Scotland, but yeah. So yeah, fair play to Cape Verde, really. Well, to be honest, fair play to Congo and these other teams that have got through. Yeah, I can't see anyone. I said there were 6 teams that can win the World Cup. Argentina's one of those teams. So I think they should be winning that one. Might see Senesi get another game because they played him in the last group game. So, not play them in this game.
So, Rain, you can comment on it if you want, but you can do Australia, Egypt. Is Marmoush going to get them over the line? I think you're muted again.
I'm not. I'm just not talking.
Oh, right.
So yeah, exactly. Yeah. Internally muted. I would probably go Egypt. Australia don't really have any standout players, and a lot of people are talking about Argentina being sort of Messi plus, a group of other players. And you know what? Quite often in a World Cup, that's just the way it is. It's an outstanding player plus a group of, solid workmen, which I think we lack. I think we really could do with just a solid defence and just let some of the forwards do what they need to do. But our defence wants to get too involved, if I'm brutally honest. They just need to just worry about making sure the ball doesn't go in the back of the net, or get anywhere near the net. Whereas obviously Egypt do, So I would go with Egypt.
Yeah. Harry.
Yeah. Sorry.
Go on, Brad. No, go on.
I was going to say, as I'm obviously born in England, but we immigrated to Australia when I was 13, so I spent a lot of time over there. I'm actually got a dual nationality, got an Australian passport, so I have a soft spot for Australia. And they've always done surprisingly well in World Cups. They've always played really, really well, even when they've been up against teams like they were in the World Cup some time ago against Argentina. Done well, but I excitedly sat down to watch them play America, and they were awful, absolutely awful. It really, really did surprise me. So I'm sorry, Australians, but I think Egypt are going to win that game. I mean, again, we're talking about one player in these teams. Egypt have got Mo Salah. So I think they've got match winners. And again, what you said about the Australians not having any stars, I didn't recognise any of the players. The only one I recognised was our ex-defensive coach is there. So, but no disrespect to my Australian friends, but no, I think Egypt will win that one. And the good thing about this game, from my perspective, it's I do believe at UK time it kicks off at 7:00 on Friday. So that's probably what I'll be doing. I'm sitting down and watching that.
Barry, you can comment on that, but Switzerland, Algeria. Switzerland got Grant Xhaka. He could be the one that gets them across the line. I don't know much about Algeria at all, apart from the fact it's in North Africa, right? But who Swiss for this?
Not
Swiss are going to roll the Algerians, yeah. Pardon the pun.
Absolutely. Listen, it's not one I'm going to be watching, to be fair. But if I do, then Switzerland, I think I would back to win. And why you mentioned Granit Xhaka? Well, his head might be elsewhere because there's been an £8 million bid for him today. I mean, Chelsea trying to get a bargain, but maybe don't know how to go about bargain because it's rather insulting. I'm hoping that Sunderland
they should just pay the money.
Well, yeah. I'm hoping that Sunderland put in like a bid for Palmer of 8 million or 9 million just to.
Awful lot of Arsenal and Chelsea players swapped, didn't they? Arsenal quite a lot of Chelsea players and vice versa. It's quite weird.
The point is, embarrassing bid, and I think we'll see the value of the player. That's my link to this in this game. So yeah, I'll back Switzerland, but I'm not saying I won't watch it. But you know what I mean? This is not one I'm going, oh my god, Adrian, I can't wait till we get to this game. There are some. This is not one. One of them is at 2 a.m. as I spoke about earlier, which is hugely frustrating. Netherlands and Morocco probably won't make that, but Switzerland back.
Ryan, Colombia, Ghana. Do you care who wins this? I mean, the way Ghana have played them, they're just like they'll sit back again, probably against Colombia. But I don't know. Good Colombia.
I don't think they will. I think they'll go for it. I think they'll go for it against Colombia. And it gets to this point where some of these teams just let loose, don't they? They're just like, right, that's it. We're just going to go for it. And I think there's a chance that like Mexico and Ecuador will be doing that, and I think there's a chance that Cape Verde might try to do that against Argentina. If I'm honest, I think they might look at it and go, look, we can't lose here if we just go for it. You know, we're going to lose if we sit back because Messi needs half a chance, and he's got 2 goals, right? So they might as well go and try and score some goals. And I think Colombia, Ghana, in a weird way, you know how it goes. In a weird way, it might be a World Cup classic. It might be one of those games where both teams absolutely go for it, and it produces an absolute stunner. Obviously, I could be wrong; it could be an absolute trash, but I think that it's got the chance that it could be one of those.
Harry, are you looking forward to seeing England in a penalty shootout?
No. To be honest, I don't know.
Possibly more than one. Possibly more than one.
Yeah. Oh, who knows? Who knows? But England's game of this, you know, it's not going to be easy, and that's the thing. You've got to have the right mentality, because if we play like we had like first half, for example, particularly against Panama, then we're going to really struggle. And I agree with points made on this panel. I'm actually quite worried, even if we get past this, how much further we can go. And I know I'm really negative, maybe as a young supporter, but not a lot. I can't sit here and tell you, I think we're going to get to the final. I think we're going to win it. I just so far have not been convinced of what we've seen. But yeah, a penalty shootout, that's definitely one for the nerves, and we've had quite a few in recent years, so we don't want another.
Right.
I thought Colombia actually looked, even though I eventually fell asleep after coming back from the pub, but I thought Colombia looked pretty good against Portugal last night.
They did. I thought they'd won it, to be fair.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. Because we're in the West, I mean, like these are the teams that most of us fancy are going to win the competition. But like we've all alluded with England, it's not the team that starts well that usually wins a competition. And even for any of these teams, their fans be thinking the same things. I mean, things have got to click into place, don't they, to win a competition? It's not easy. I mean, I know we've bottled it under Southgate, but he did take us up another notch, getting closer and closer. I mean, we all want to see England win it in our lifetimes, don't we, But I'd be picked. If you had to force me, I mean, I'd pick. Well, I think everyone's going to pick France, Brad, aren't they? I mean, like to win this.
Yeah,
competition.
as I said, I think there are 6 teams that can win it. France, Spain, Brazil, Argentina are 4 of them. England is the 5th one, and I think the 6th one is a surprise team. I think. I think England. You've got to. I mean, France, for me, France are the favourites from what I've seen them play. Mbappe is virtually unstoppable. Spain, to me, don't look like the Spain we've seen in recent years. Brazil, probably when they are at the top of their game, which they were against Scotland, but that was playing Scotland. Argentina, I'm going to say keep Messi out, but that's virtually impossible as well. But yeah, France for me, the team, my favourites, and England really are probably going to play one of those teams, maybe 2 of those teams, to get to a final. So it's about time we won these big games. We're not a bad team. We haven't played very well, but we're not a bad team. We haven't got bad players. We've got decent players that play in decent leagues. Bellingham plays for Real Madrid in the Spanish league. And I think we've also got a squad that I think we've got a fairly decent squad, and we've also, let's face it, we've got a German head coach, and Germans know all about winning. So, which is the one thing we've lacked. The one thing that I think we lacked in the past, we didn't know how to win these big games. Whereas I think German coaches seem to in the past. I don't know what it is, but they seem to find a way of winning. And he seems to be quite good at it, or he wants to make changes if it's not going well. He seems to be quite okay at doing that.
He's proactive, not reactive.
Yeah, he's proactive. Yeah, definitely. And I think he selects his teams, on that as well, on that sort of what he thinks the game's going to be. So, yeah.
Right.
If I put my life on it, England winning, probably wouldn't. But then, I'm probably like every England fan. But we can win it. But I think France are probably favourites.
Rain, I mean, for England to get to the final, we've got to get past Brazil and Argentina. Right. And other teams, we can say we've got one world-class player in Harry Kane. Other teams have got more than one world-class player in the team.
Absolutely.
I mean, Brazil have.
Absolutely.
I mean, we look to Vinicius Junior. I mean, like you say, you've got Messi, but they're just others. I mean, It's just our defence that worries me more than anything else. We seem to be like, if Tuchel can get that tune out of that defence, we've got a chance. We've got a good chance than anything else. No point going if you don't think you can win a competition. But yeah.
No, I'm in exactly the same place. I think we have two problems. I think the first problem is we don't have that solidity in defence. Do you remember we always used to have solid centre backs, right? And we could always pair them up. It seems to have gone, seems to have disappeared. We don't seem to have that in our locker anymore, which is a bit of a shame. I mean, against the other night, I can't remember who the analyst was. Was it Lee Dixon? I can't remember. Who was commentating on the game, and they said he said something that was just that they meant to sort of placate people being worried, but actually, I think it was spot on and should make us worried. And they went, they're not, the defense isn't that tight because they haven't played together that often. And he was trying to make a reason why we were looking a bit dodgy. But actually, that's got to be a real concern if you're coming into a World Cup, even like with a second or third string backline, because things always happen in a World Cup, right? You'll always have somebody get injured, somebody get a suspension, and somebody else have to come in. And if we're now at the point where Tuchel's playing Conte, and Konza, and the answer why are they not playing that brilliantly because they haven't really played together before, that's got to be a real concern. That's not what you want. I get the Brazil aren't that good, but is there anybody on this panel who wouldn't take Gabriel as a centre back for England? We all would, 100%. What about their keeper? We all would, right? Brazil are not the team of old, but they're better than us. They're still producing players on a regular basis. We aren't producing the quantity of quality, and that's causing us a problem, and it's going to cause us a problem. Even it's going to get worse, I think. Going into the next 15, 20 years.
Harry,
I think I can only see it getting worse.
Harry, your take on England's chances? I mean, as well, did you have the same concerns about defence of me and Rain have, and probably Brad as well?
Absolutely.
Just before Harry, the other thing that so there's two things that I'm worried about defence, but the other thing is creativity. I just don't see where we're getting anything creative coming from. Sorry, Harry.
No, sorry, no, great point. You're absolutely right. And I think it's very important to highlight that, because for me, you take away Bellingham and Kane, then I'll be saying I don't even think we can get past the next stage. And that's, I think that's been fair. Absolutely. I don't think England will win it, but of course you have a chance. Brad mentioned a few times rightly tonight, there are 60 countries, at least that can win it. Absolutely. But, I just think there's some that just aren't. I don't believe England are. I don't think Brazil are. I just don't think even we've got enough. I don't think Portugal will, for example. I can easily say that. So, with England, I think it's just how far we can get, to be honest with you, Adrian. I'm not saying we're not going to win.
And also, to sort of give us a bit of confidence, a bit, it's these teams that we fancy have played already in the competition and how well they've played against them. I mean, if you thrash a minnow, no disrespect to any team in the World Cup, but does it really give you a true reflection of what you're facing?
And Adrian, the difficult thing is I've been negative ever since that squad was selected because of some of the players that were left out. So that'll be a little bit, if I'm being honest with you. I look at it and just go, we have no chance. And that's just kind of been my view. So it feels very hard. And maybe, I don't know, don't speak for you, Adrian, but that might be a part for you. You might feel some players they should be in there, and you go, actually, this is harder to get behind this year because I've been behind it, but I'm thinking I just don't think we could have got that far. I just think some of the players, whether it be Lewis Hall, Gibbs White, whoever it may be, I'm thinking, hell, why aren't they here? So that's part of it. So yeah, I still think England will have enough compared to particularly France. Do you know what? I just think France are going to go all the way and win it. I just think they've got too much firepower, and sometimes that can get in the way. You get egos, etc. But I can't see anybody beating France, to be honest with you, Adrian.
Well, Morocco and the Netherlands, if they get through, it could happen. It could happen.
Of course, yeah, but anything could happen. I could be a millionaire, but extremely unlikely, to happen, for example, tomorrow. So, that's the end of the day. I just think France, be very surprised if they don't.
What I will say is that in the last, when we've had chances to win tournaments, we've actually had good runs. We've had I won't say easy, but an easier run through to the final than we might have had. Maybe it might work the other way. Maybe having to play Brazil and Argentina, maybe that might work for us. That we'll go in as underdogs. Maybe that might work for us. But yeah, look, I think defensively, Gui, the Palace player, he's now a Man City player. I think that's a decent centre back. Pickford has his moments. Still a bit worried about him. But yeah, defences, when you look at the defenders we've had in the past, we just don't seem to sort of produce them these days for some reason. Well, we know the reason is because there's a lot of players coming in from from other countries and that, which obviously reduces the players. And that's not having a go at that in any means. That's just saying that's just the way it is. It's look, we got to get past Congo at first. So let's get past them first. And I've been learning how to play World in Motion on the guitar. So I thought I might do that for the quarterfinals. So we got to get to the quarterfinals if you want me to hashing up World in Motion. So,
funnily enough, Harry, you mentioned a word about France that's usually sort of trotted out about them, and I'm not saying that's what you're doing, but it usually trips them up, and that's ego. And my biggest concern when I look at France is that they seem to lack ego. They are playing for each other. You've got Mbappe passing to Dembele for him to score. And this
don't forget Desiree Doué as well.
And Doué, exactly. This is the explicit reason why they were quite happy for Mbappe to get out, was because he was causing problems, and they saw Dembele as the star. But France, they seem to have got rid of that, and they seem to be playing together, and they have got a collection. They've got a collection who we would really, really love to have.
Hey, they've got a Bradley in their team, so what more can I say?
Yeah, the winger, Bacola or whatever his name is, from PSG. Yeah. Okay, guys, any of you, Harry, who's going to be top scorer in this World Cup? Come on.
Oh,
if I've missed anyone out, please remind me, because
I think it'll be Messi. I mean, he broke a record, didn't he? A day or two ago, absolutely incredible, scoring that many consecutive games. Yeah, I think it's just incredible, isn't he? We know that. I don't think it'll be Ronaldo or Haaland, maybe. I mean, for Kane, just because of how good he is, it wouldn't surprise me if he could do it, and we don't even get past a semi-final, etc. So yeah, it's going to be tough to predict, really. And I'm more focused on who wins the World Cup rather than individual player awards. But no, you have to say Messi. One final dance, and I think it's been fantastic today.
Brad, you going with Messi?
Mbappe's not on that list.
Yes, my excuse. Yeah. Yes, sorry, I do apologise.
And I think that the
neither is Moussa Dembele either. He's not on.
The top scorer is probably going to come from the team that wins it, or at least gets to the semi-final. So if you're looking at France and Argentina, or doing, I mean, if England get as far as the semi-finals, then Kane's got a good chance. But Messi, I mean, if Argentina go all the way, you can't write him off really. Amazing player. I mean, feel privileged to have seen him play. I remember him playing in his first World Cup when he was 17. And they're all going about what a player is going to be then, and he's proved us that. I mean, the modern footballer now. I mean, you've only got to look at Kane and Ronaldo and Messi, if they look after themselves, they can play until they're like 40 years old at the highest level. So yeah, it's pretty incredible.
Rain, are you going Messi? Mbappe, I've missed out. I mean, you're muted again.
There we go. I think it will be between. Sorry, it's just a force of habit. I'm quite often on quite large panels, and it's best to just mute yourself so that you don't interject with other people. Force of habit. I think for me it'd be between Dembele and Messi for two reasons, for different reasons. One, I think France just looked like the cream of the crop this year, and they've got so much creativity up top that I can just see them just scoring just loads of goals. And for with Messi, Argentina is basically like a human body. The human body is basically a vehicle to carry around the brain. That's all it is. It's the eyes are connected to the brain. Everything else is just designed to service the brain. That's it. And with Argentina, everything is designed to service Messi. Just don't do anything stupid. Just give it to Messi. There was a film that I used to love. No, I haven't seen it in a while. It was about Man City and this kid who sort of got some magic boots, and he was really, really good. And
Billy's
he
Boots.
loved Man City.
I remember Billy Boots. Yeah.
Billy's Boots. Yeah.
And Raven on the wing. Raven on the wing.
And in his school team, there was a kid called Gordon, and the whole point of the team was just to give the ball to Gordon because Gordon was amazing. Give it to Gordon. Then Gordon got injured, obviously, and then he stepped up with his magic boots and saved the day. And Argentina is just give it to Messi. Just do whatever you need to do, but then just let Messi do what he needs to do, and he's gonna get 2 or 3 every single game.
Right. Before we move on to the transfer window, and I don't know how long Harry's going to stay with us. For those of you listening on various platforms, there's like 160 odd of you now, which is fantastic. You can see the red subscribe button at the bottom right hand corner. We're a relatively young channel. Please go over there, subscribe to the channel, and give the videos a thumbs up. It helps the algorithm. We bring everything here to you for nothing, right? Big up to everyone in the chat. I will go through the comments. Big up to your questions and comments, and big up to everyone who watches on playback. And with this, come back to this banner. The World Cup finals 19th of July, so it's like 3 weeks. The summer window, in case we see anyone we like there and we've got any money left and we haven't spent it all and sold players and whatever. The summer transfer window closes 46 days after the final. It's 6 weeks, right? But 9 of those days go into the new season, right? So it's just a note there, which actually starts on the 22nd of August, the Saturday 22nd of August. Okay. So I've done that bit in the chat. So now, let me go through banners. I'm going to go through the comments. So Congo next in it. Yes, mate. I have to say the goals against something outside the box. Yeah, on the goals outside that scored the box, Brad, Harry and Rain. I think Thomas Frank wouldn't be enjoying this World Cup.
It just goes to show, doesn't it? It was such a stupid thing. It was so ridiculous. This don't shoot, because do you know what? Quite often you don't score from shots outside the box, but how many times the strikers score from rebounds, especially these days with goalkeepers who don't catch? It's absolutely bonkers. And the even more bonkers thing was, how many goals did we concede from outside of the box last season? In that D, we conceded so many, and yet Frank had that diktat, no shooting from outside the box. Bonkers.
Harry, there's been some absolute bangers scored from outside the box, though.
Sorry, my thing got stuck now on the mute button. Yeah, there has been absolutely, and do you know what? I always think I'm a big believer in you got to start a goal, have a go, as long as there's not a silly option in front of you. Because I think now, and in my lifetime, of course, I'm a modern football supporter, but I just feel like too often teams, whether it be countries or teams, by the way, but try and score a perfect goal. I mean, sometimes I don't really care. The team I support, how it goes in, as long as it goes in. I'm thinking, but at times, I mean, even under Andrews to walk it in, I'm thinking, come on. Frank as well, he's got to be scored in a certain way. For me, it means the same thing unless I'm missing something. So I don't care if it goes off somebody's backside and takes 9, 11 deflections. I'm not interested. It goes in. It's as simple as that, as far as I'm concerned. But you're right, we've seen some real beauties outside the box. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we saw one for Croatia yesterday. I don't know who it was, I must admit, but I believe Croatia scored a really good goal yesterday. I saw it flash up in the England game, and that looked very good. I saw it in highlights as well. Yeah, good goals outside the box. I mean, especially for a smaller team, right? Those that sit back, you get an opportunity, start a goal, have a go. Why not? 9 times out of 10, the keeper might spill it, or you just don't know. It could lead to a chance.
Yeah, I'm just going through the chat, and then we'll get back onto transfers.
Well, the thing about to me, going on about shooting from outside the box, that's what makes Harry Kane one of the great strikers, is that he scores goals from everywhere, and he scores some crackers from outside the box, as well as inside the box. So, yeah, I mean, it was bizarre, Thomas Frank. I mean, he went on the stats, didn't he? But the only stat that's important is whether the ball goes in or not. The actual end of the game. It's only a stat. So.
Another thing that they've been checking on the corners whether they're correctly given, haven't they, as well? Another new introduction for VAR.
So VAR has been very interesting, hasn't it? I think it's been really, really, really well applied. There's been a couple of errors. What was I can't remember. What was a massive error? Was it? There was a huge error where a player very, very clearly was fouled. And they didn't get it. Was it Congo or similar, or Ecuador? Maybe it was. I think it was Ecuador. But mainly, they've been very, very quick with VAR, which obviously is important. In complete contrast to our 5 to 10 minute delays. Right, they've been getting them done and over with within half a minute to a minute, it has to be the baseline. If you're not going to make a decision quick, then just move on. Just move on. Otherwise, you're just ruining the game. But the other thing is that the referees are really, really making it known that they have the authority. They are the authority on that pitch. And I think too much of our referees in the Premier League, they're not treated with the authority by the Premier League players, and they don't command it. And sometimes unfortunately, they go the other way and try to be buddy. Well, no. Do you know what? You look at the great referees going back in the past, and the cornerstone of what they delivered was through respect. Yeah, Kalina. I think of Ellery as as a really good ref, and it was all about respect. And that's we always look to rugby, don't we, in referees, and that is 100% respect. If you don't respect the referee in rugby, then you're off, basically. So there's a lot that our referees can learn. Will they learn? No, but they could.
Hi, Peter Cader, 610 in Melbourne. I mean, big up Peter. He's gifted
Good
5
morning.
CD memberships. If Brad goes to Australia again, you'll let him meet up, right? So, on membership.
Place Australia, Adrian.
Yeah, I know.
Tell us whereabouts you're from in Australia, Peter.
Yeah. And if any of you out there, the 170 of you viewing the channel now, if you want a membership, it's $1.99. We don't charge dear memberships. We don't run the channel to make money out of Spurs fans, basically. But big up for that, Peter. Handing out 5 memberships. Cool. Garth, we just finished going through the chat. Yeah, he got one. Brian, my real life friend out there in Cheshunt, got one.
Yeah, I'll try.
One, Jimmy Grimble. Just go through these beast. Big up, guys.
Yeah, 100%.
Right, nearly through them. Thanks, Peter. Yeah. You're welcome, Nita. Right, back to the banners. I don't know if Harry's gone. He was going to give us an hour, so he's probably gone.
Okay, don't worry. Sorry, I'm
Okay.
Apologies.
You get fatigued. That's fair enough. You just
Harry is one of the most polite people I've ever met or know.
too polite.
I don't think he would go without saying he's about to go. So.
I try not to.
Right. Did he just gift another 5, Peter? Just at the bottom there. Wow. Well, I admire your generous of spirit, mate. Right, let's hype that one. Now, back to the banners. Right. Let's get into what is the normal BS of the transfer window. Right. I wanted to, guys, Harry, the transfer market seems to have gone for a period of like mad inflation. I don't know where these prices come from. I don't suppose you've got any idea, but because I go back a long way, as does Brad, when we used to pay 125 grand for a Martin Chivers or 220 for Martin Peters, and Jimmy Greaves went the other way. I mean, this is like, I just can't get my head around these prices. I really can't.
No, and you're right, and yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Absolutely crazy, and and the same token, like we're seeing bids like 8 million for Xhaka, and I'm thinking, hang on, is this bid in like 2010 or what's going on there? But on a serious point, though, I don't see it slowing down. I really don't. I think if we sit here talking to you in, let's say, 5 or 10 years' time, I think we're talking like it's going to go up and by significantly as well, a huge margin. And like, if we look at transfers generally, I think there's going to be a lot of money spent. I mean, it has some already, but a lot by the end of the window in England, but not a lot anywhere else really. Of course, you have like that Real Madrid pool, but let's use Vicario as an example, right? My belief is if he goes to a Premier League club, we can get that 15 million, let's say we want. But if he goes to Italy, it's already looking closer to 10 or 8, we've heard. So I just think the money is going to be more in the Premier League, but some of the prices are absolutely crazy. Look, Elliot Anderson goes to 160 million. He's an incredible player. I'd love him. Tottenham, 160 million, though. I mean, it's an awful lot if you're asking me. And I can't help but look back, and I know it's no good. You don't benefit from it at all, and it's totally wrong. But I can't help looking back and think, Kane, what we got for him and how much actually I think he's worth. I mean, I know at the time, etc., and price has gone up since. I get all of that, but Kane, right? If some of these players, prices they're going for, but Anderson, with all due respect, is going for 116 million, and all these players going for good prices. Yeah, exactly. And we hear all this. Elise, I mean, huge price up. Mbappe I've heard in the past. So yeah, prices are absolutely insane. They've gone too far, Adrian, really. And it's difficult if you're not a juggernaut to pay these prices.
Brad, how do you think this is going to affect teams in the middle?
One thing that's
lower length of the table. How do you think it's going to affect these teams?
One thing that's fooled me with these price increases that I'm finding now that on social media they're talking in euros all the time, and obviously we're in a country that has pounds. So as soon as you see 100 million euros, you think 100 million pounds. It's actually 85 million pounds. So that I think causes a bit of confusion. But no, it's just crazy. It's just unfortunately, it's the way of the world now. Prices go up, and I'm surprised that Tottenham at the moment are actually talking about spending 100 million pound on a player. I didn't think that would come for a couple of seasons when we improved our league position. But unfortunately, that's what you got to do now, and we haven't done it in the last sort of 25 years. We haven't gone and paid over the odds for players that we want. So yeah, it's crazy, and you've just got to look at the teams. I mean, Leicester aside, most of the teams that have been winning things have been the teams that have put the money into wages and players.
Ryan, are we seeing the end of teams like Brighton, Bournemouth, possibly Fulham, and their ilk of like getting players in for 20 million, developing them, and then selling them on for a large amount of money? Is this inflation in the transfer market going to make the rich make a bigger gap in points table for rich, because the rich teams will buy these quality players? And let's be fair, my view on the Premier League is there's a very because there's such a shortage of quality. This is why these prices have gone through the roof. Because when I look at the Premier League and lots of games that bored me to death last season,
Yeah.
what you had was very athletic players who technically are okay, but they ain't really got nothing else about them. They can't, they're not game changers. They can't make nothing happen. And and I just think this has been bred into this game, which has just got faster and faster.
Yeah. I do balk at, sorry, Brad. I do balk at we haven't overpaid for players. I do look at, I think of us paying 60 million. It feels like quite often we're bidding against ourselves for players, and we have done for quite some time.
Maybe
and I think,
well, I think
put a caveat to that. We haven't paid over money to really good players. That's what I'm saying. When they're really, really top.
There is that, and it always feels like
we overpaid for Charleston and we overpaid for Ndombele. That's two, but that's just in general. But
well, Solanke, I think we overpaid for.
I don't know. I'm undecided over that one. Yeah, I think it's only second season, so I'm not going to judge him.
No. I think for where he was and who he was at the time, we overpaid for him. I think we paid over the odds for that player. And I think if you look at Van der Ven, a lot of us think of Van der Ven where he is now. But actually, when we bought him, for the player he was, we paid more than probably the going rate.
It was 43 million with add-ons. With the add-ons,
it was 45 million we paid for.
43 with add-ons. That's with the add-ons.
Yeah, exactly. And Archie Gray, is another one where we've massively paid over the odds. For a player, we paid for promise. I would the list can go on and on. I think we've paid a lot of we paid for we paid over the odds for a lot of players, but I do agree. What we haven't done is gone, this player is really, really good, and we're going to go and pay 100 million for this guy. What we generally do is find two who are average and overpay on the two average players. That's my point. What was the original question, Adrian? Just bring it back.
It's based on the inflationary effect of
Yeah. So I
mean, is it a bad thing for football? I mean, mainly for mid-table teams and teams that we, I don't like to disrespect teams that say be in the lower reaches of the Premier League. How's it going to affect them?
Yeah, the problem that football's got with inflation is that there's no counter effect. So in normal normal capitalism, the way that it should work is there should be a counter effect to inflation, which is called productivity. So if you can make something better, then it gets cheaper, and therefore you can offer it to the market at a cheaper price, and that should combat the general effect of inflation, which inflation is just weird. Inflation is just imaginary, right? Inflation is just that people want to get paid more tomorrow for what they're doing than they got paid today. So we use inflation to do that. Unfortunately, in football, you get inflation without productivity. So prices only go up. There's no counter effect to bring prices down, unfortunately. I guess the only counter effect is when clubs run out of money, and the Premier League doesn't like it's running out of money anytime soon. You've seen in Italy where they had lots of money in the 80s and 90s, and then they ran out of money. So in the Premier League, I don't see them. I don't see prices being arrested in any way, shape, or form, especially, as you say, Adrian, when you look at the lack of quality. We're talking about it with England players and the distinct lack of quantity of quality.
Yeah.
It used to be the case that if you were an England forward and you got 10 or 15 caps, you were a really good player. Yeah. And it was the outstanding players who got up somewhere around 50, 60 caps. Now, you know, if you're Ivan Toney, you haven't played in the Premier League. You've been playing for Timpot FC out in Saudi Arabia. You get a call up because there's so few English strikers, and there's so few quality strikers, and that's the same all over the place. So it is a real worry, and you know, I do hope that they sort this out. I do hope that they, you know, we've spoken about this, Adrian. I do hope that they look at the way that we're currently producing youth and the way that we're currently.
Well, it's pathways, isn't it? It's pathways. We get
and they sort it out.
He's got a bit of skill. He's like regarded as a new coming of Christ, isn't he? If you can do anything a little bit unusual on a football field, suddenly you're a £60 million player, and we haven't even seen you play a season's worth of football. You know, so.
And funnily enough, so I had my Barnet Cup midweek, and I had my sort of once every couple of months chat with Dave, the Chelsea season ticket holder, who the last time I saw him, I asked him, "Are you guys going to relegate us?" And he said, "No, because you're going to be relegated before you play us." So we got that wrong. Actually, I rubbed that in his face. But we were talking about this because obviously Chelsea are in a very similar position where they had been overpaying players and they've really stitched themselves up. I saw somebody.
You can't move monitors on high wages. Look at the Rashford situation with Man United, and then we're going to go that way, but we've got to. We've got no choice. We've got to do it.
I heard somebody give a really good take on Chelsea. They've spent so long mimicking Brighton that they've now become them, right? And I think it was a brilliant take. You know, they've spent so long spending on youth to try and generate cash that now that's all they're about. And we were talking about it, and we were talking about youth development and how our clubs used to develop players. And I don't know if you've I've spoken to a couple of West Ham streamers in the past as well. It used to be the Academy of Football, and you know, and we talk about the same thing: the fact that they used to just churn out, you know, the Birdlands, the Coles, you know, the Lampards. But even underneath them, they used to churn out Carricks. They used to churn out young players. Who used to go, maybe not just in the Premier League, but they used to just go into football. And he said, Rain, it's actually worse than you think. He said, if you go down to a park, right, where there's youth football, they're teaching them to play tiki-taka. They're teaching them to play out from the back. They're not teaching them how to actually play football. They're just teaching them how to play safe. And you come, you know, one of the things that I'm particularly concerned about with England, and one of the things you're saying, Adrian, is a complete lack of creativity, a complete lack of bravery in a lot of these players. And what Dave the Barber is confirming is that it's being drilled into them from 8. It's being drilled into them from 8 years old to play safety first.
Oh yeah, you get a trial at Hotspur away, you give the ball away, you're not getting invited back. You know, and that's, that's a generalisation, but I mean, like, you don't give the ball away, basically. And we see it in bullshit football in the Premier League each week. I mean, I think the Spanish league's more attacking. I don't watch it, but I hear people like it. But I mean, you know. Anyway, moving on a bit, just because we're getting near the end now. I'm going to come to Harry on this. New financial year. I posted this like over a week ago everywhere. So those people, mainly for the window. This is why I wasn't as impatient as other fans to get deals done straight away, because I know the way the money works. It works in this financial year or the beginning of the next one. And the new financial year for the vast majority of Premier League clubs begins this Wednesday, 1st of July, a signaling date for FFP SCR Financial Fair Play Squad Cost Ratio. On that, I mean, I think Spurs have done well to go early. They have. And look, if we're talking about we don't know these sums of money. We know the one on Anderson because that's been declared, right? But we don't know if we offered 75 mil for either, Fernandez or Sandro. We don't know what amounts have been offered, and no one knows until that's it. I mean, the best guy out there is Ornstein, because as you're a season ticket holder, or you haven't renewed yet, but I have, and Brad is. With your new season ticket holder, you get a 3 years subscription to The Athletic. So that tells you between the lines that they've got first dabs on information coming out of the club. And usually David Ornstein's very accurate on that. So what I'm saying here is, like, Monday and Tuesday, if we're getting Fernandez, I think that'll be Tuesday. And if we get Sandro from Newcastle, I think this is going to happen before Wednesday. When other clubs might be able to come in because they have a bit more financial clout for the New Year's, because they'll borrow on their New Year's estimated revenue streams. What's your take, Harry? Sorry, it was a bit long-winded.
That's all right. I don't want to interrupt. No, you make some good points, and you always. I must admit, Adrian, I'll give you credit. You always calm me when I think, oh my God, we haven't addressed the forward situation. You mentioned this, and I think, oh, thank God. So thank you very much for that. And otherwise, I'll be annoyed that we haven't addressed attacking issues. But you're right. Spurs have done very well. Let me just quickly touch on that so far to bring in 4 players. I think those that maybe on the lazy side without being horrible go, oh, yeah, but 3 of them were on a free. It's not about that. It's taking up opportunities when they're there.
It's not about money or free contracts. It's about quality. It's just about quality.
Absolutely. And without a doubt, for example, Senesi's quality, I can't dispute that. And Robertson offers a lot, from leadership to depth to strength to a mentor for a dog. There's lots of things that are offered there beyond just Andy Robertson, who some people think is not the player of his parts. So listen, I think we've done well, but for me, we still haven't touched upon anywhere, well, not at all, on our biggest issue, and that is for me the forward line. I think to be kind, average, that's too kind. I'd say below average front line. We desperately need to improve that, but I'm not complaining what we've done so far. But again, like I said earlier in this episode, I can't help but think what we've done next, because if we fall asleep for the next 7-8 weeks, that's no good. Leaves us a couple of weeks, to my knowledge, of the window left, and it makes it hard. So this is all very good, and I'm getting excited myself, but I'm telling myself, hang on a minute, if we don't no signings for these next few weeks, then all of a sudden it doesn't feel quite as good. Don't get it wrong. And then particularly if you see like the Berg Valley, Vuskovic leave, in my opinion, it puts a small damper really on what we've done. So Adrian, I'm happy, but you're right to mention these key dates, very key dates, and we'll have to see what happens. I don't think we'll be getting like Fernandez and Tonali, probably one or the other. I think that's okay. And I think by what we've done with the goalkeeping situation, I'm hoping that means that more money and time can be spent on looking at that forward line. Again, I don't want to be horrible or anything, but I just look at that forward line in general, and I go, how many of them would get into other top 6 clubs? Is that a top 6 forward line? Fortunately, it's not, and I think that's what we fall foul going into a new season at the moment. So yeah, it's not complaining. It's just like, come on, Tottenham. Let's not just sit back and think, what we've done so far. Let's keep going and try and improve that forward line.
Brad, Sandro Tonali, terms of
I mean, I'm hoping that.
Let me finish. 80 million offer reject, 26-year-old, 5'11", right-footed, centre midfielder. Right, his stats are here. He's agreed to come. I mean, the word is everything but the fee. So if it's 100 mil, including add-ons or whatever, the word on this guy, he wants Tottenham. He's not going to change his word. I think there was the connection with him and De Zerbi coming from Brescia and all that. I think the connection's there. My attitude is pay what they want. Let's get this guy. Let's get the first man in, yeah?
I'm hoping that De Zerbi has the final say on the players that he wants. And I think that, let's face it, when they went to him to get him, not the first time when he didn't want to come, but when they went to him to replace the guy, I can't remember his name now, that's how good he was, the Croatian guy.
Perisic.
We were desperate.
Modric?
Tudor.
No, the coach.
Tudor. It's about Tudor.
Yeah. When we went to get De Zerbi, we were desperate. We were absolutely desperate, and I think
best forgotten, Brad.
Yeah. Well, I have actually. So, yeah. And when I think they went to De Zerbi for that second time, I think he must be rubbing his hands, because he knew that we were desperate, and I think he's in his contract. He's got, I want the final say on the players. I want this. I want that. I want this. And they know that he's a certain person. If he doesn't get what he wants, he's out of there. And I'm hoping that this is the attitude that they're not new owners, obviously, but the kids of Lewis will be realising, and they must be realising that, hey, we've got to be proactive and spend money if we're going to succeed in anything. Because if they look at the 25 years or whatever it is that Enid's been in charge, we've won 2 trophies. It's like, hang on a minute, that's all. That's for a team of Tottenham stature, and what everyone might think, we are a big club. We should be up there. I'm not saying we deserve to be winning every year, but we should be up there challenging. And it's we need to put that, to spend the money. As I said, like Tonali, if they want him, yeah. If Newcastle want 100 million, pay the money, because it will be paid back. That £50 million extra we pay, if we get in the Champions League, we make that back in the first few games. Speculate to accumulate. And I think the fact that Daniel Levy has supposedly come to say to Simon Jordan, Tottenham had their pants pulled down over the Van Zeka deal. That says it all, really. That says it all. And that if he'd have been there, we wouldn't have got him. Because we wouldn't have paid that money for him. So
it's rubbish. Levy, you're gone. Best keep quiet.
He's very bitter, isn't he, Simon Jordan?
I'm saying let's soon it's mended. You know what I mean? Forget it.
I'm with Harry here about being calmed by you saying that, because I'm trying my very best. I put something on the WhatsApp group the other day. I'm trying my very best not to get really sort of angry about the transfer window. They haven't done this, haven't done that, because
there's 9 weeks left of the window. We're only in the first week.
There's a lot happening in the world. There's a lot happening in my life and your life that and everyone's life that's more important than whether we get to Nally. It's just a fact of life. So I'm trying not to get really angry about Tottenham and the transfer market, and I'm hoping that this new regime will actually suddenly have come to realise that they've got to put the money where their mouth is.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not saying it's great.
It's going to happen.
Yeah, well,
it's going to happen.
I really hope you're right, but I'm not.
The fact that they've rumoured to have offered 75 mil as the lowest offer for a player, and the fact that we're willing up the wages means that if we only get one of our main targets in here, which I think we're definitely going to get Tonali, right? I'm going to come to rain on the other guy. It shows our intent that we're going to do it, and there are lots of good players. I've watched lots of videos. There are lots of good, but obviously, De Zerbi's gone for Premier League proven. Everyone we link with has been Premier League proven. Rain on that. This is a more could be 50-50. This match from West Ham Portuguese, 21 years, 5'10", and our fans always moaning, bringing in a youngster. Right-footed CM Camsey, West Ham stats, 36 appearances, 3 goals, 4 assists. West Ham v. Verbal agreement with the player. I think he's agreed with Man United as well. West Ham is saying, whoever pays the most money gets this player. I think both clubs have done a bit of a leave here. They know that this financial year ends on Wednesday, and I think they were leaving it for him a little bit later to get a cheaper deal. But what's your take on this? Do you think we'll get him, or do you still think it's 50-50?
Just to start with, I think I stand by what I've been saying for 9 months, 8-9 months, which is I do think that these ENIC 2.0 is behaving differently, and this is somebody who went and protested, stood with 13 other mugs before Burnley, behind a Time for Change banner, whilst everybody streamed past them at White Hart Lane. I do think they're behaving differently. I do think they're going for the right type of players. If we go back and have a look, they broke the wage barrier for Conor Gallagher. That they got the right profile of player in Kudus. That they are looking at the right profile of player now. Even if you look at who we've got, Senesi, Van Hecke, these are all they were 29 and 26 years old. That's not what we would have done in the past. Yeah, going and spending, like Brad said, going and spending the money on Van Hecke and getting him in, and not letting the chairman's ego, because I think that's all that was about, get in the way of getting the deal done. I worry with both Tonali, but more so with Fernandes, that we are being played, that we are being used as the third party to get the deal done with the second party, that either West Ham or probably more likely the player wants to actually get the deal done with. So it's always useful when you're in a negotiation to have a third party. If you can work it out that you and the third party are working in conjunction so that you can nobble the other person, that's great. But unfortunately, in this circumstance, what it looks like to me is Fernandes or West Ham are using us to get more money out of Man United. That's what it looks like to me, unfortunately. I think we absolutely 100% need to be doing one of two things. We either A, need to do what you're saying, Adrian, and go, look, we are going to pay the money. We're just going to pay the money, and we're just gonna do it. Well, it's sorry, whoever posted that, it's worse than that. They do have his money because he's put it all in he had to put it all in a trust to ensure that Trump didn't go and
They've sold £400 million worth of their art collection.
Yeah. So they put it all in a trust. He put it all in a trust for them, and they have done what second generation owners of sort of new money generally do, and they are spending it. Right? That's what they're doing. They absolutely are. All these people are like, oh, it's still the same old Enoch. It's not. That's not the way that second generation family businesses work. You've usually got one guy who builds up the business, in this case Joe Lewis, in conjunction with Daniel Levy as the chairman and CEO at Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. 3 years ago, Joe Lewis had to put everything in a trust and declare that he had nothing left to do with any of these businesses because he got done for financial insider trading, and they were going to take everything if he didn't do that. And it took them a year to get their feet under the table. Then they got rid of Levy, right? Last summer they booted Levy out. They stabbed him. It was a coup. And now they're behaving differently. They absolutely are. With the Fernandes deal, I think it's less than 50-50, Adrian. I don't think even if we paid, even if we paid over the top like he's coming to us.
Well, just on that, Ryan, the reason I mentioned,
I think we should. So wait a minute. So I think we should do one of two things. Either one, sorry, is where I was going. One, we do what you say and just pay extra, or two, you just walk away. You set a deadline and you just walk.
There is another contributing factor if it's true that Man United have got FFP, SCR issues for all this spending. Well, look at the forwards they brought in last year. They brought in loads of players last year. Ugarte they were going to sell, but he got badly injured for Uruguay, so they can't sell him now. Right? I don't know how much you'd get from him. Maybe you'd only get 20 or 30 mil from him. I don't know, but it's still money. But that could be the wages of a new player over a 5-year contract, though. So I don't know. So it's up in the air, but I'm expecting good news, and I'm expecting the transfer window to sort of move in after Wednesday because all clubs will be borrowing on next year's revenue streams. I know Harry's got to go. I just got one more banner to do on the fund section. I just want us to run through and clip for it, and I'll take the average prices which you give. These are 15 possible sales loans. I'm not saying they'll all be sold or loaned out, but Vicario, Sarr, Romero, Richarlison, Ashley Phillips, Alfie Devine, Souza, Yang Min Hook, Kota Takai, Dane Scarlett, Manasolom, Dragosin, Buskovic, Bergvall, and Tell. So quickly, Vicario guys, how much? I'll roughly do a rough wrong calculation. The club want 20 for him. They want 20 mil. I don't think it's a bad ask. See if clubs of Italy go for him. No?
I mean, clubs are going to know that that we want to sell him, don't they, really? And that he's had issues, and, the fans have been on his back, and, to ask 15 million, I don't know. I honestly wouldn't have
what do you get for 15 mil now in this inflated market?
I wouldn't have a clue.
Yeah, but you're thinking Premier League. It's who are we going to sell him to? We're not selling him to the Premier League. We're
Well, I
selling
think
him to Italy.
I think he wants to go back to Italy anyway, doesn't he? So,
Yeah. So that's why the 15 million is relevant, because we're not selling him to the
Right,
Premier
we're doing
League.
this in pounds, guys, right?
Sorry to be a pain. I've got to jump.
Fred brings euros into the equation.
Speak
Like,
to you later, Harry.
See you later. Thank you for having me.
See you later, Harry.
Harry's going to be a regular Sunday co
Okay, mate.
for me on here, right? Yeah. Okay, 10 for Vicario. How much for Sarr, guys? Come on.
10.
Only 10.
Yeah, I think Sar's I mean, he a few years ago, his first season under Ange, I mean, he was the bee's knees, wasn't he? He seems to have, sort of gone backwards a bit.
I think the Premier League club's going to pay money for Sarr.
Yeah, I don't know, 10, 15. Who knows?
All right, we'll say 20 on those two. Romero, good World Cup under his belt. How much?
You say how much we're going to accept for him, or how much we want, or
No, it's just a bit of fun because it's it's just a bit of fun, right? So we just go through these, yeah. So
realistically, I reckon we're getting 35 plus add-ons.
Brad,
if he has a good World Cup, I think the last World Cup, did he make it in the team of the tournament? If that happens again, probably that's going to add 10 million on it, isn't it? Really, I guess. Again, it depends on where he goes. If he goes to Italy,
all right, we'll say 40. We'll say 40.
I'll be up front with you here. I have no idea what I'm talking about in this conversation.
Okay, that's okay. Neither do any of us. None of us. Right? We're football fans. What do we know? Right, so that's 40 mil. Richie, now there's a dearth of strikers out there, so people are going to have to pay. I mean, I know Spurs fans would like really lower the values of all these, but it's the market that dictates how much you're going to get. So,
a goal.
Right.
Canada have taken the lead in the 92nd minute, and there's 5 minutes of extra time.
Well, go Canada then.
Sorry,
That's all right. Richarlison. Ryan?
10.
I'm not having 10 on that. Brad, Richarlison.
Explain yourself.
Well,
explain yourself, and I will explain myself.
Okay, he's got double figures in the last 5 seasons. There's an absolute dearth of strikers out there. It's not what the value that Spurs fans think of Richarlison, and I'm not a fan. It's the fact that the market, there's no strikers out there. I think you're going to get 25, 30 mil for him easily. I mean, a team that hasn't got a striker, and they keep you in the Premier League. He scores enough goals to help a team survive. I actually think you get about 35 mil for him, but we got 60 so far. Brad? No? How much?
Yeah, again, it depends on where we go. And again, clubs know that we want to sell him. His injury, until this season, he's been injury prone.
Not just this season.
All right. We'll say
and that, Adrian, is what you're missing. What you're missing is, but people will not just look at him and think, is he a good player or not? They'll look at him and they'll think, how many minutes am I going to get out of this guy? That's what they'll actually do. So it's not he's a £15 million player or a £20 million player or a £100 million player. It's this guy is going to play maybe 20 games this season. And you're going to need to put him on a list, which means that you're going to need to go and find another player who's going to play the other 40 games. I think we're deluded, and if we think that teams are going to take the risk on Richarlison being their number one striker, in which case they're not going to spend 30-40 million on him.
Well, let's halve that then, 20. He's a striker, there aren't none in the market. What do you get for 20 mil? You can't get Vuskovic for 45.
Thiago. You got Igor Thiago a year ago.
By the way, the Canada goal came from a shot outside the box.
I think we're being very conservative, but if we take 20 mil for Richie, right, we've got 100 mil, right? Ashley Phillips, player of the season in Stoke, someone like Leeds, Brighton, the room to be in.
How have we got 100 mil?
Well, you got Sorry, 80, isn't it? So you got
Yeah.
10, 10, 10. 20. What did we say, Romero? 20, 20, 20. Yeah, we got 80 then, yeah? Ashley Phillips at Stoke, player of the season there, player of the season. He's not going to get a centre-back at Spurs. He's going to be sold. And I can see teams like Brighton who need a centre-back now. I mean, they offered 45 for Vuskovic. We turned that down. The rumours being for Pastoral Strike of Leeds. I can see teams coming for Ashley Phillips if he doesn't sign for Stoke. So,
yeah, but Stoke aren't going to pay that much, are they? You know,
yeah, but he's got to be worth 10 mil, surely.
Has Stoke got 10 mil for our round?
Someone in that league will have it. Even.
So somewhere between 5 to 10 mil we'll get for Ashley Phillips from a championship side.
Let's
We'll
5 then. We'll go 5. We'll go low as we under Hutchinson. We've got 85 mil. Alfie Devine, we know, will go for 5 mil, which would give us 90 mil. Back to Preston, but if he goes to another club, there'll be a bidding war. I think he's worth 10 or 12 mil personally. I haven't watched the player, but we'll stick with the 5 mil, 95. Souza, I think he'll just go on loan. He won't be sold.
He'll go on loan, won't he? Surely.
Yeah. Kota Takai in Germany, don't know. Scarlett.
Like, a lot of these players are like, who? Like,
Yeah, Scarlett's worth
just
10
forget about
mil.
it, you know?
He was a 17-year-old. Didn't get game time when he was on loan at Ipswich when I got promoted the time before now. Whenever he goes away over England.
You think we're getting 10 million for Dane Scarlett? We're not getting 10 million for Dane Scarlett.
Right, then.
We're not getting 10 million for Dane Scarlett. We're getting 5 million maximum. We're getting 5 million maximum for Dane Scarlett. For one reason in particular. He hasn't scored any goals in his career. So teams are gonna it is a complete and utter punt. Okay. Unfortunately. The way that we've had I mean,
you're at the mark, roughly.
We got 4.5 for Troy Parrott, if I remember rightly. And he had scored goals. So that's just the way it is.
Okay. So we get Solomon. I think Fiorentina only offered. We wanted 8.5 million, and they went no. And he's back with us.
Full time, by the way, 1-0 Canada.
He could go back to Leeds. I think they'd pay for him. What do you reckon?
Got him on a free.
Yeah, we did.
Bit cheeky money for it.
War in Ukraine. Yeah. So, Manor Solomon, how much?
We couldn't get Leeds to pay us 10 last season, and that was after he had an absolutely cracking loan with them. So I'm hoping that we get 10, but again, I think he's another 5 to 10 million pound player.
All right, say 5. We're at about 110 now, anyway, right? So Dragerson, Florian has been trying to sell him since he set foot at a football club, isn't he? His agent. So 110. How much for Dragerson?
Well, it's a shame he's not in the World Cup because I thought he had a good Euros.
You did.
If he had a World Cup and had a good World Cup, we could get money for him. But yeah, it's.
So how much for Dragerson?
I think Mr. G 8537. I think that's a cracking shout. I think West Ham. I think Solomon would absolutely fit West Ham when they get rid of Somerville. Them swapping in Solomon for 5 mil would absolutely suit them down to the ground. I reckon Dragerson we're looking at 2025.
So we're at about 140 mil now. Vuskovic we turned down 45 mil for. So if we just leave that as a figure, I think someone's going to come back bigger for him, right? Yeah. Now we're at 190 mil, and we haven't even got to Bergvall and Tell. So Bergvall, they're talking 50, 60 mil, Forest, thing like that, So, Tell, he said he wants to keep, so we take him off the list. So, we've been very conservative. You're looking up to like 250 mil. So what this shows, I mean, they might all go, they might not. I mean, I don't want Vuskovic to go. He's the only one. And I don't, and I am a fan of Romero, right? So I've took lots of pelts for being a fan of Romero, but fair enough, right? Other than that, I'm not bothered if the others go, even if Tell goes, to be honest with you. So if we've got this another 100 mil coming into the club, Brad, and we've got 200 mil, and we make some sales, ENIC have got no excuse, have they? No excuse to go big in this window.
I don't
And
think
we
we've got any
know
excuse
that
anyway.
we know as we've got Dubravka, and we're not concerned with getting another goalkeeper, but we know we want the 2 midfielders, and we want at least 1 striker and 1 left winger.
Well, if you sell
I think the
Richardson,
money's there. The money's there. Even if you're paying 60 mils upwards, I think the money's there to get them 4 in.
we could offer Bergwell plus money to get Morgan Gibbs White, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, if they want Bergville, Forest want Bergville, please. I'll take Morgan Gibbs White. Right, and onward.
I'm hoping that we're not determining who we buy on who we sell. You know, I'm hoping that that's like extra money, if you like, sort of thing.
But Rain, we know the fat Greek. If we made them pay 50, 60 million for Bergville, he'd want to charge us 120 mil for Morgan Gibbs White. You know what I mean? So.
I think the bigger problem. I think the bigger problem is not. The bigger problem is not. Can we spend money on players? The bigger problem is, can we attract the quality of players that we want at our club?
Yeah,
that's the real problem. We're talking about budget is irrelevant, really. We don't have a money problem. We don't have a cash problem. Yes, we need to shift on players who we don't want, but most of them are worth nothing. That's why we're in 17th. That's why we finished 17th twice. Is because these players just weren't good enough. That's it. That's the harsh reality. The harsh reality is we took some punts on freebies, like Brad said in Solomon, who's been out on loan for God knows how long. Veliz, we took a punt on him for 15. We've taken a 9 million quid hit or 7 million quid hit on him. Barely played for us. We need to stop doing that, and we need to buy the right type of player. And the only way that you do that is you go for players like Tonali, Fernandes. You know, you actually go for the quality players rather than stop taking punts. But then how do we get those quality players when they look at us and we finish 17th twice?
Yeah, but I guess that goes down to how
we need to get the first statement in. Get Tonali in, and I think that has a big positive effect on our transfer.
We've had 2 really awful seasons, but let's face it, Tottenham Hotspur are not a 17th position team.
Yeah.
We are, Brad.
And you wouldn't think it's crazy to think we're European champions, would you? You know, we should have carried a warm glow from winning that cup all through the season, right? Inside, we should have had a warm glow inside, but it wasn't.
We had one season where Ange, in my opinion, took the right decision, and we went for a trophy in which we won. And then the second season, we got a poor manager, and then an even worse manager when the going got tough. As soon as we got a decent manager in,
3 home wins, and we're season together.
Yeah, but look at what we did in the Derby in 7 games.
And the craziest thing about it is 4 more home wins, we'd be playing European football. That's how crazy it is. Right?
Exactly. So I don't see. We're not a 17th position team.
I'm afraid we are. I'm afraid for the last 20 years we've been a mid-table team. There's been 2 reasons why we haven't been finishing mid-table. One was Gareth Bale under Harry Redknapp elevated us to Champions League football, right? And the other reason why we were finishing above mid-table was Harry Kane. As soon as without either of those players, we finished below Champions League spots in the Premier League.
What about Pochettino's team? What about Pochettino's team?
With Harry Kane.
Yeah, well, every team that wins the league has got one player that does it. And
my point is, we don't have those players, Brad. We have been a mid-table team for all of that time, except for Gareth Bale and Harry Kane. And unfortunately, we don't have a superstar right now.
Yeah,
we have been a mid-table team for a long time.
After he moved into the season 2019, after the Champions League final and all that, right? And there was rumours then, and we hadn't won an away game for so long and all that. But they conflated it over 2 seasons, as the media always does. But since 2019, we've been pants, basically. We were going up, Poch raised the bar, then we were pants. Our recruitment was absolutely shocking. and that was why. I mean,
Oh, we've been a very
we tried,
badly run
but
club.
no, it's not that
certainly
we
not-
didn't know what we were doing. Why wasn't due diligence done over Endon Belly's like attitude, which is very questionable, which turns out to be a sort of lazy player, don't want to train properly and things like that. That's got to be this is why you should have a sports psychologist as well and bring these players in and go over other things with them. Lo Celso was actually a Marino signing for 40 odd million, but Richie for 65. I mean, we've seen strikers at this football club. Our forward line now wouldn't even live with half the ones we've had in the past. Wouldn't even live with them. So
It's a very high bar with Harry Kane, haven't we? So
Kane was a miracle.
You don't want to replace him.
And even he wouldn't have got his time. Fair play to Sherwood on this, given his time. And then Daniel Levy got him. Why aren't you picking Soldado, right? And Sherwood said, well, Kane's playing well. And from Sherwood picking Kane, we had the one season wonder that scored over 500 goals. Go on, Brian.
Here we go. This is it. This is it. This is what people miss. This is what people miss. People think that it's all been planned, and it hasn't.
No,
it hasn't. Nothing. None of it's been.
He
planned.
had some awful loans, Kane, right?
Even Gareth Bale was not. Gareth Bale was on his way out on a loan to Coventry. On a loan to Coventry.
So was Kane.
And we had a problem at left wing. Harry Redknapp and he was on a 26-game no-win streak, and they were trying to get him out on a loan. And we had a problem at left wing. I can't remember who it was at the time. Harry Redknapp put him there, and he exploded. Right? He exploded. We were this close, both to not having Kane and not having Bale.
Modric's made a big difference as well in the midfield as well, though.
But even with Modric, we were still a mid-table team. We were still a mid-table team. We only got Champions League football with Gareth Bale. You can go and have a look at it. This is not opinion. This is fact. This is fact.
Crouch header
This is fact. You go and have a look
Crouch
at it.
header away to Man City had a lot to us getting Champions League football. And them last few games we had to play Chelsea, Arsenal, and no one give us a prayer. Then we went away to Man City and we got the win as well.
The problem is that we've been very, very bad buyers of footballers for about 15, 20 years. Very, very bad buyers of footballers. And it's all been glossed over by the fact that we got lucky with Gareth Bale, and then we got lucky with Harry Kane, and we got lucky with both of them. As Adrian pointed out, both of them were virtually on the way out. They were not being pathwayed to being the tremendous footballers that they both became. Neither of them were.
I'm going to go through the chat, then we're going to end the show. It's been a great show, guys. As usually, you've actually helped me carry it on far longer. I try to keep them to about 1 hour and 30, but the last two, Friday's show, 1,000 views and whatever.
All right, for you retired people.
Well, this is it. It means I can put more time into organising the show and making them interesting. I mean, I won't defend the indefensible. When the club needs bashing, I'll need bashing. But primarily, we're here to talk football. So we'll see. I think we're going to have the best transfer window we've ever had because we're willing to dip our hands in the pocket. And the fact that we've got Senesi in and Van Heck and Robertson for his experience and Porro signed a new contract and all these rumours about Spence going absolutely ball because what I've heard is that we're just focused now on midfielders and the attack. So any links to Gleeson, Bremer and all that, we don't need a centre-back. We can't give Vaskovic or FC Phillips a game. You know what I mean? So, but don't fall for all this rubbish out there, guys. Don't fall for anything regarding a goalkeeper.
There's a lot of crap in there.
They just want clickbait. You see, they have to do it. They have to put out false information just to get the clicks.
And in fact,
stick to the Athletic and David Ornstein. That's all.
Even Spurs are guilty of it. I saw Spurs official. Spurs signed midfield. I thought, yes, it was for the women's team.
Yeah, but and also, Adrian, you made a really good point about Ornstein. Ornstein actually refused to comment on. I can't remember who it was. It might have been Fernandez or Tonali. He actually, in an X post, went, "I'm not going to comment on this because I haven't had anything from. I haven't heard anything about it." Whereas you've got a lot of other ITKs who just churn it out. They just churn it out. But Ornstein actually recently.
There's the link.
all
Spurs have got
Steelers
a link with
recently.
the Athletic, you know.
Yeah.
Sean's
Look,
good fun, though.
I love Sean. I love Sean.
Good fun.
I'm decent mates with Sean, so I don't
But
need
I have
people.
noticed
I
that
don't need
most of the
people.
clickbait is it's always for the same story, isn't it? You always
Yeah.
like how often have we clicked on something that says that Tonali wants to, has signed, has got his contract sorted out, wants to sign for Tottenham.
Well, it usually runs
Same
Spurs
story.
in for this player. Oh, next one is now Arsenal in for this player. Spurs in for this player.
Oh yeah,
now
yeah,
Arsenal
I
in.
heard that one.
Spurs
Yeah.
in- and the media do it. They do it, and that's what gets them the clicks anyway, because people are mugs enough to go on and do it. If you look at I did it earlier on, but when I go to like Team Talk, Give Me Sport, Football Insider, makes you think, oh, they've got real inside information. You know what I mean? And you go for all these, you get to know, depending on what else is being posted out there, that I'm not even going to bother going in here because, like, I know this is crap, right? It's like prices of players. I mean, comes out recently that even Man United and Spurs, apparently, again, we don't haven't even put a bid in for Fernandes yet, which I always suspected would happen. I thought it'd get nearer. And like, weekends, guys, come on, seriously. You're going to get a bomber on a Saturday or a Sunday. I mean, that's very unlikely. This is why I said patience. I was saying it Friday and before. I said wait till a couple of days before the new financial year starts, and you'll see some action. You're definitely going to see it after financial year.
But let's be clear. Let's be clear. To come back to this, I love what people are saying in chat, because they've got me completely wrong, right? Because what I think is we need to get 100. We need a low risk window. We need to get the right players in. We cannot make any mistakes. We make mistakes, we end up back down in 17th. And each year we're there, it becomes harder and harder for people to argue with Brad. It becomes harder and harder for Brad to argue with people like me, who go, we've been really average, apart from a couple of players who dragged us out of it, right? And those players were lucky. It becomes harder and harder to argue that we're not that type of team. I want us to go and get players like last year, Man United. They lost that final and they went and got Mbeumo, Cunha, and who's the guy they got from Leipzig? And they got another striker. And they spent all no. He went to Newcastle. Sesko, that's it. Yeah. And they spent almost 300 million on 3 strikers, and they're good players. Cunha.
Also, a big difference there was also when they changed manager, because they weren't doing that. They weren't doing that well until they got Carrick in.
No, fair. But let's face it, Carrick's doing nothing if he doesn't have those players available to him. Yeah. So Amorim didn't use them properly, but if Carrick comes in and he's got crap players, it doesn't matter what Carrick's going to do. Carrick can't get out on the pitch and score goals for Man United. He still needs those players to go and do it for him. And Cunha is Cunha is absolutely on fire for Brazil. So we need to go and find the right striker,
especially
go and spend money on them.
Right. The issue is everything we've done so far has been Premier League driven, right? So we know those players aren't a risk rain. If we step outside the Premier League, like you say, we've got to do proper due diligence. Now, the other day, Manuel Cohn for France in midfield, who Roma are going to sell for like 40 million. Well, if we can't get Fernando Henderson, go and get this guy, right? Because their skin, it's a good league to fish in, the Italian league. There's talent there, and clubs are desperate to sell. But these are the main 2 targets that we know. Fernandes and Tonali are our main 2 targets. Get Tonali in first, pay the money, because we've got to. Because De Zerbi's ambitious. He wants to now. He don't want to wait for Tell to be good in another couple of seasons. I'll keep him
this is
every day on Sundays. But
the thing about attracting players is that we've got to go on our strengths, and our strengths are, and I know they're not compared to we win things every year, which is obviously the ultimate, but we've got a well-respected coach at a club now who seems to know what he's doing. London is a big draw for a lot of players who live in London. We've got one of the greatest stadiums, if not the greatest football stadium in the world, where you're going to get 60,000 fans every week. And every player that we've signed so far has said, I'm looking forward to playing in that stadium with the fans behind me. So we've got a few things to draw on there. We've got a potential to draw on.
Well, yeah, Brad.
I think that's and also if we attract players based on that, they're going to play for us rather than I'm only coming to you because
exactly that. Exactly that. I mean, Tonali, I think we definitely get.
Yeah.
If
And I respect
that. Sends a message out. You've got Romero hinting now that he wants to stay, right? So why? I mean, look, I'm not having all this stick up front of Romero because of the wandering off home and then coming back for the last game. Simply because he signed that new contract. Now, he knows how his club's been run over those years, right? So why did he sign the contract? Promises had to be made to him, right? And Levy broke them like he's done so many times in the past. Right?
Absolutely.
I've always wanted Enoch out, but I've always been one fan, right? When I say, you sit on the fence of this, no, I've got firm opinions about everything, but I'm also practical in my outlook. When May sold Newcastle, Ashley, their fans up there, they made far better protests than the Spurs fan base did, right? Far better, right? But that club was only sold when Ashley said it. But what the protest movement has done, right? They've kept the bold's feet to the fire, which resulted. So they've had success because it resulted in Levy going. All that pressure resulted in Levy going. It got very uncomfortable for the board. Now they've got to step up. But don't forget, they're also behind Levy. So either they said, no, you can't spend, or I think it was Levy not wanting to spend personally. I don't know, though. So I could be totally wrong. So this is the difference. I'd still like new owners. Whether I've seen new owners in my lifetime, Brad, I don't know. But I mean, but we need the protest movements there. That someone has got to keep their feet to the fire all the time, and they've had success. To me, the protest movement has had success. They might not think so with some of the poor turnouts and that, but it has had an effect. It's had a positive effect because Levy's gone and look what's happened now. It's all changed. So that protest movement they need kudos for that. I don't mean
I'm looking forward to the new season.
I renewed my seasons. The last 2 seasons, I said I'm not renewing. I'm not renewing.
That's right.
Yeah.
Adrian, I've been to every single Change for Tottenham protest.
I've been to 2,
and I'll be brutally honest. I think the changes that we've seen are coincidental. I think the changes that we've seen are not related to the protests. I think the changes that we've seen can be timelined to Joe handing the next generation the reins, and the next generation doing what second generation of new money generally do, which is we're going to do things completely different to the way that the first generation, i.e. Joe, was doing things. And that doesn't sit well with me because, I want the time that I've spent doing those protests to mean something. But I'm also, the type of person who wants to analyze, who looks at things and wants to be truthful about them, and that's the way that I see it. The way that I see it is they're doing things differently.
You're right.
Also, the relegation would have scared the shit out of them. It really would have.
That would have cost the club 150 million for Kieran Maguire, right?
Yeah.
Others said 250. Don't know about that, but the recruitment has to be right and we've got the money to spend because we haven't spent in the past, and our debt ratio compared to what we can spend is good. So, but we can do it. We could spend 400 million in this window, right? But you can't do it every year because once the FFP and the new squad cost ratio will come back to bite you on your debt levels, right? That's what it's there for. Stop clubs going. And don't forget, because we're not in Europe, we can spend 85% of our revenue plus another 30% on top of that in the transition between FFP to squad cost ratio. Don't want to bore people with details like that. I'm not a financial expert or nothing, but
even the season ticket includes Spurs play now, so.
And it includes membership to the Athletic as well.
Yeah, which I think I'll subscribe to anyway, so I'll have to cancel my subscription. So.
guys, it's been. I mean, look, it's
Yes,
been a
it's time to
fantastic show. We've got 180 of you viewing this on various platforms. Hope to leave you at times like this, right, when we've got a great audience. Like I said earlier, those of you that have joined us recently or in the last hour and that have stayed with us, thank you. You can see the red subscribe button in the bottom right hand corner. Please hit that subscribe button, subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up. There are memberships for $1.99. If you want to take out a membership, take out a membership. You can even do super chats, but we haven't really got into this at Spurs Dives. We're young at the moment, and but every little helps us. I mean, I want to thank my guests. They know who they are. Thank Harry for coming on. He's going to be a regular on Sundays. He said he would be anyway, so we'll see. And these guys will be regulars as well because they are good friends of the show and regulars. And we have lots of regulars on. It's going to be hard for me to fit all the guests in all the time. I'll have to rotate them and see. Yeah. With that, I want to thank everyone in the chat for their comments and questions. I want to thank everyone viewing us on various platforms. Real big up to those that come and watch the videos on playback because the views really do go up on YouTube. And with that, any last word, guys? Any last words?
I hope you're right. That the 1st of July deadline is what we're waiting for, and we get some deals across the line next week. It'd be absolutely fantastic. If I'm invited back in, next Sunday or the Sunday after, and we're talking about more players who've come in and the right type of players, Adrian. So, I'm hoping we get Fernandez, to be honest. I think he's a fantastic player. I'm hoping that they go and get a striker and a forward over the line, and we can start looking forward with some optimism, and we can start and we can really start saying, yeah, do you know what? This does feel different, because I really want it to feel different to how it's been the last 15 years.
We will get another 4 players in to make it a best ever transfer window. I'm confident we'll get 2 midfielders in, and I think we'll get a striker. I don't know who, now that my man's gone off to Italian waters from PSG, Ramos, and now that he's gone. But it looks like we're going to get 2 midfielders in and a striker and a winger. There's plenty of wingers out there. There are plenty of wingers out there.
I don't know if anyone noticed that Andy Robertson had an ice pack strapped to his leg the other day. I haven't heard any stories. But I need to go. So goodbye to everyone in the chat.
We're going to end the show, and I don't know if with them 2 midfielders whether we're going to get Paulina back. I doubt it if we get him in. I think we'll get him back. I'd like him back, but with that, guys, like I say, thank you. It's been brilliant. I mean, we've done well over time. I usually try to keep it over 30, but
right. I'm going to go now. I'm going to go now, Adrian.
Right, then.
Take care. Have a good week.
Right, and I'll end the stream. Yeah, come on, you Spurs.
We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die, hearts, heart and soul. We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die, hearts, heart and soul. We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die, hearts, heart and soul.